This was Sid Sheinberg's mandate for me. He said, find a way to kill the shark a different way.
40 years later, here we are talking about Jaws: The Revenge, which I did not expect. It's heartwarming that people are still interested in this.
I think part of the fun of it is that you sort of watch it again, you go, yeah, it's not that bad. You see things in it that you didn't notice before.
I'm sure when they all sat down and said, let's do it again, they all thought it would do well. I don't think they were trying to make something that, let's make a cult classic that connects years later.
I could call all the shots, hire the writer, hire the crew, do everything. It was my baby. How do you walk away from something like that?
The shark that roared.
I don't know what a shark roar would sound like.
The only thing better than the shark roaring is if they added in a sound effect of a fart.
I don't think I've ever seen reports of sharks going like,
I bet you didn't realize that sharks could roar. That's a little known fact. They can.
Giving the shark a little roar was giving him a little extra something.
They're known as the lion of the seas, right?
I think the roar was just an additional distraction or something to sort of mumble it all together so that it looks like the climax of a film.
he conquered his own biology and uttered a noise. They shouldn't have stabbed that miraculous shark. They should have took him on tour.
The AI editing thing is crazy, and you can spit out faster content.
If you can get your product out in half the time, then you could potentially charge half the rate.
I think it's going to come down to these factions where people want the human experience.
Our reliance and dependence on AI is going to be our demise.
You just wait until they die off.
Yeah, and then you execute.
Well, welcome to the pod, Justin.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I am. I've been up since 4. I think I said that the last time, and we're going to allude to the fact we're just going to get it out of the way. We filmed an episode, and I said too much, and we're redoing it. So,
yeah. So technically, this is a welcome back, but for the first time, this is a welcome to, I guess, the audience, because that episode will never see the light of day.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's start from the top. So you have an extensive career in videography and film.
You're so good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Tell me, what was your introduction to your film career? When did you get started?
I actually got started when I was about 8 or 9. Like we kind of mentioned before in the last episode, I'm going to refer to it a lot just as a joke now. But
They already know it's already
they already
out
know. Yeah, I actually started making short films with my dad, and he had that massive JVC camcorder that he used to film home videos with all the time. And he was that person where we were like, get it out of our face. We don't like this. This is very awkward. But he just loved filming everything, to making chocolate chip cookies, to, church things that we did. And I just followed him around all the time and watched how he would just capture things and would find story in anything and just would make things up randomly. And it was really cool. And then I started filming after that, doing my own thing, just little things here and there, but never saw the light of day. And that's pretty much where it started.
I want to stop here real quick because first of all, everybody, this is obviously a different setup from what you're used to and what we're used to. And we want to thank Justin here for making this happen today. So shout out to you for producing and editing this episode.
Well, thank you for letting me. Yeah, this is your guys' baby. You're crushing it.
And we're also on the road to 100 subscribers. So if you haven't already, go click the subscribe button down below. It takes 10 seconds and it's free. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, this is still Startup Humboldt. This is the boardroom, which is a much bigger room than the previous studio. And so, yeah.
I'm a big fan of this room. I'm a huge fan of this room, because it feels more open too, and it's not as hot as the other room is.
Oh yeah, big time.
Just saying, because I was wearing my hoodie last time, and I was just sweating through that thing. That was brutal.
Were you nervous for the first one?
Definitely, because I hadn't done a podcast in a while, and then I just wanted to make sure I did right by you guys, because I know how much you're invested in this and how much you want, excellent people and all of that stuff. And I was like, shoot, do I have anything to bring to the table? That like imposter syndrome thing. And so I ended up talking a million miles an hour and saying things I shouldn't have, and learned when you sent me that episode, I was like, oh man, I was super nervous. What was I nervous about? And kind of watched it and talked with my lady about, it's been a while since you've done it. And so,
yeah. Well, we wouldn't have invited you on if we thought you didn't have anything good to say. So
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel loved.
Yeah. And, yeah, we just like when we first met, I was like, oh, like you have so much to talk about. And then when we started the podcast, I thought was a great idea to get you on. So
How did you two meet?
he followed me on Instagram one day. I don't know how you heard of me.
How did I hear about you? I think what I end up doing is whenever I see somebody come up in the video world in Humboldt County, I just end up following them. Not to diminish you feeling probably special in that moment, but that's kind of what I usually do just to keep track of everyone. So that way I can
stay connected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's huge. It's like I'm a big connector. I love connecting with people. I love being a part of the community and stuff. So I usually just follow everybody. But I don't know if you DM'd me first or I messaged you or something. I don't know.
I think you posted about doing like a reality show here in Humboldt. And I was like, oh, dude, like, because like I want to be a part of the community and help with other videographers and stuff too. And I was like, I want to help out. And then I think you left me on red.
No, I didn't. Did I really?
Our researchers hath uncovered with great and terrible certainty that Andrew doth sit upon a throne most foul, constructed entirely of falsehoods. Justin hath responded accordingly. Andrew is and remains a liar.
I would have too.
Oh my gosh. That's actually not the first time that I've heard that, because sometimes like, this is going to sound like I'm making excuses, which I am because I'm trying to avoid it, the topic. But what ends up happening is I just get so bombarded with stuff where I try to decide, okay, what deserves my energy right now? And I've left a lot of people on red. You are not the only one. But I think I could have sworn I responded to you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we talked back and forth after that. But I think overall, once I mentioned helping you out, you were just like, nah, see ya.
Liar! And lo, Justin didst respond, for he is a man of virtue most rare. His chivalry is without equal in this realm or any other. A noble soul, a just soul. Truly, the kingdom doth not deserve him.
That sounds like something that I would do, which I apologize to past you. And if we need to walk through that trauma right now, we totally can.
No, it was just an honor for you to follow me, honestly. So
it was an honor? Was
yeah.
it an honor? Why?
Yeah, because I mean...
Let's unpack that. Why was it an honor?
Because, dude, you're killing it right now and you're doing a lot of cool shit. So it was pretty cool to see like a huge videographer hit me with a follow.
Wow.
So like for example, some of our past guests, like Case Mandel following me, Canadips following the account.
Yeah.
Who else?
It's like a
Cal Poly Humboldt.
It's like a rite of passage, you know, like because like he's young, he needs to still like build his name, you know. So any followers he can get of established people in the area is gonna help. You know, people see him as a professional.
I feel that.
Yeah, and then like when Tex Kelly followed me on his personal account, he's got like 140K. Like that was pretty cool. Shout out Tex.
Yeah.
And then one of our past guests, Evan Van Auken, who runs Scorch Marker, he's got like 300K on Instagram, and he followed me, and that was pretty sweet.
And you felt awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it's pretty cool.
To speak to that, I totally feel that, because there are a few editors that I adore who I think are phenomenal and would comment on their pages or something, and then they end up following me, which was insane to me. One of them, he cut the Deadpool movies, and I just said, hey, I loved your edit with this, and this, because when I watch movies, I really pay attention to what was the mood of why they made that cut, and pay attention to things like that, and they end up following me, and I'm like, oh my God, me, thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a pretty weird feeling. It's like why me?
Yeah.
You know, so like other than you following me because I'm another videographer, you want to stay in like touch with like what we're all up to and stuff.
Also to take you down, not just to stay in touch. Yeah, for sure. No.
It's pretty cool to have like people like you follow me.
Well,
and
it's
stuff.
awesome, dude.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you for following me.
Yeah, of course.
Social media and online platforms are becoming more and more important and like looked at.
Yeah.
And more significant as we progress. And so everyone here has some sort of online digital platform that we use to show who we are and potentially even advertise our services.
Yeah.
Do you like filming short form content at all? Do you have any interest in it, or do you primarily focus on long form?
I actually love it all. I was on a podcast a while ago where this question was asked, and I said I hated it. and it was stupid. But the reason why, it was because I lacked the understanding of it, because it's just one of those cases of, oh, I don't understand it, I'm just going to write this thing off. And then I started recognizing, oh my gosh, this is a whole other set of skills for writing, for editing, for filming that I could totally be putting under my belt right now, and shifted my entire perspective on it and started writing shorter sketches. Like, can I keep your attention within like this 15-second, 25-second window or whatever it is, and keep you engaged? And I've just been, what?
1 second.
1 second, whatever it is, like the intro, like I'm still learning that back end of it. And, because I know that there's retention editing, which the creative side of me is very anti. I don't care about the Mr. Beast editing thing, but then I get it because I watch his videos. I enjoy what he does and what his crews do, and how much time they invest into paying attention. I've got 1 second to hook you immediately, and if we don't, then that's like like especially with their editing, they have that 1 second, then they give you a preview of everything that's going to come at the end. And then one thing that I've learned recently is when I see trailers, I used to get upset because that's the whole movie right there. But then a buddy of mine said, yeah, but you still have to go through the journey of how they got there in the first place. And that shifted my perspective on the short form stuff. And now I'm trying to be better about giving short form content, but also not caring all that much. Like, I make reels with my daughter where she's editing with me, and they have no premise to them besides she's just hanging out with me, and I post those, and that's it. And then out of that, I'll get DMs about, hey, love what you do. Do you want to work? And that's just kind of the lane that I found for me personally. I edit way differently for other people that are into short form. And now I have those skills where I was anti that stuff. Now I'm very, okay, that was naive of me and dumb of me to assume that, because I just didn't understand it. And I thought it was ruining everybody.
Are you a short form like content editor for any like major brand or influencer, like the fast hooks, quick cuts?
Yes.
And how is that shifting into that mode versus editing like a feature?
That it's a whole different part of the brain, and being okay with it, and not, you have to separate those things out. When I'm narrating narrative stuff or editing narrative stuff, that's a whole different part of the brain where it's more long form. You have to shut off that quick cut thing. It's kind of a feeling like with editing, it's a mood thing. It's a tone thing. It's an internal thing that you follow with narrative stuff and documentary stuff. It's a lot of just, what is the footage saying? What is this, or this? But when it's the short form stuff, I'm pretty good now about changing my brain as far as, okay, this is short form. This is what this is supposed to be doing. And that's it. This is not supposed to be a long form documentary edit. This is what this does. Even though to me, my creative side, this is not great. It serves a purpose for the short attention spans, the quick marketing video, boom, done, and then move on. I don't put any feeling of, oh, I hate this thing. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, it paid me. And yeah, it may not be my passion or whatever it is, but it served its purpose, and now it's out there in the ether. So
totally. Yeah. I really kind of judge and compare short form versus long form, but in a lot of ways they work together.
Yeah.
Even with our podcast here.
Yeah.
Our shorts are what brings in a lot of the long term, somebody sees a short.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah.
Because they're just going through the YouTube reels, and then they click on our account, and then they check out our other content. So it's almost, it's not them competing against each other. It's almost like a collaboration between the two.
Yeah.
And how many times are you on Instagram or on some sort of short form content, and you watch something and you watch some interview, and you're like, oh, I need to find this full interview, and I'm going to go like look it up and watch the full interview.
Yeah. That's
exactly what the purpose of those shorts are. And so I really like that you had that switch, and you had this moment where you're like, oh, I don't like it, but now you've opened it up your mind, and you're looking into the possibilities. And I think that's good. I think it's good to be adaptable and be able to make that shift.
Yeah. And you gotta be, and that's like, to your point, is I'll see Christopher Nolan interviews, like maybe 10 seconds of it, and I'm like, okay, where the hell is the rest of this like 2-hour-long video? I need to go find this right now. And that's kind of what I'm doing now with, I'm revamping my YouTube channel and stuff. I'm going to do more teaching things, and then also just focusing on a lot more of my passion projects with writing shorts and stuff. But I did a short called The Interrogation of Jerome Gatsby, which earlier we were talking about interrogation scenes. And I wrote it with a friend of mine, new friend of mine, and we ended up, I made 100 and something shorts for YouTube and then put them on YouTube, and then it was the funnel into the longer video. And those shorts ended up getting thousands and thousands of views. What really taught me that, though, was also TikTok, because now I'm barely on it. I'm getting so many ads. I don't know what is going on with my FYP page or whatever it's called, the FAP. No, that's FYP.
Yeah.
Okay, FYP. My bad. Future Justin, don't cut that. But like that, to your point again, is that I've learned that funnel system now. So now when I make a short or a commercial or whatever it is, I'm going to do a few seconds of that clip in a short. It's going to lead to the longer video, so then clients can also see that, and then I get some connection. I've had some really cool connections out of that whole system. So I definitely needed to shift the perspective on that and adapt to where things are at right now, because that's just the way that things are at right now. And then I'll make some stuff that just goes straight to YouTube or wherever it goes and just lands there. That's more long form, and I just don't care about the views that it gets, because I just wanted to make that thing for myself. I have a whole system of, I make stuff for other people, one thing for those people, and then I make something for me, and then I make something for other people, and then something for me. So that way, when I'm in the middle of making these really clinical things, I can counteract that with, I made something creative, so I don't feel like, ew, gross, I made this very generic project or whatever. Hopefully that makes sense.
So you started with a JVC camcorder.
Yes.
And you've been able to shift your mindset, for example, from long form feature films to short forms. How were you able to transition from JVC camcording to what you're doing now?
Oh boy, I might have to order dinner.
Let's start with when you started making money off of videography or film.
Okay.
What was your first? Oh, I can make money off of this.
Probably when I was in church. I was a production manager for 10 or 11 years, but I did not know how to do that. I was thrown into that position, and they were literally like, "Good luck, figure it out." To which at the time, I wasn't as into reading as I am now. And so a lot of it was, going through the insecurity thing, is I had no idea what I was doing. They said, "Hey, we want to live stream." What do you mean you want to live stream? Oh, we want to have a multicam live stream set up. We want to do video announcements. We want to do this, and this. And I had no idea what any of that, I didn't know how to do it. So I started learning all of that stuff through a bigger church that we were involved with, not with any of them anymore. But I learned there, I can start making money, because that's what they were paying me for, is, you can film and make money. And I didn't have access to the industry or LA, so I didn't know the order of operations, but they were paying me for video announcements. They were paying me for live streaming. So I had to do a lot of searching, a lot of, calling people, hey, bigger churches that were in this space, and say, hey, they want to do a live streaming setup. And one of my friends to this day, Pietro, he said, hey, why don't you come over here and we'll show you how we do live streaming. And they had 15, 20 cameras or what have you, the crazy setup, like a huge room full of switching systems for video and all that stuff. I walk in and it was like, I just went into one of the 7th levels of hell, but it was heaven, and it was crazy the amount of gear that was out there. But they had the grace for me, because I was so green in that space. I had no idea what I was doing. And they're like, hey, sit here. And I'm in front of this massive board, and they just start walking me through this, and this. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I love this. This is crazy. It was like, oh, camera 1. All right, camera 2, get that person crying over there and snot dripping down their face. Okay, get ready. Camera 3. All this stuff was happening. And I'm like, yep, this is it. And they taught me a lot. And then from then, I went back to the church and I was like, hey, this is what we need. I gave them a list of stuff. They bought everything. And then I had to figure it out, putting it together. That was fun, because I didn't know what an SDI cable was. I didn't know how to connect certain things, running hundreds of feet, certain directions with cameras. But yeah, that's kind of where I learned, you can make money from this outside of the church. Because then out of that, I got a wedding from doing a ton of video stuff in church.
So you're...
Go ahead. Sorry.
When you were working with the church and doing all the live streaming stuff for the first time, you said you were pretty green at it. Do you ever hop on a job with somebody and you figure out pretty quickly, like, holy crap, I've actually never done this before?
During that time, it was probably when I went over to that bigger church, because they had that was when I really realized I had no idea what I was doing, because I made shorts, I made stuff that's never going to see the light of day. I do have a YouTube channel out there where an old church that I went to before this one, we made short films and random videos and stupid commercials. Like we did a Guitar Hero commercial where I was backlit by this massive red light, and we had a fog machine. I'm walking down the hallway with a Guitar Hero guitar, and I was like, do you want to face a real Guitar Hero? Because we had Guitar Hero competitions out at my church. We made stupid stuff like that, and I can't delete the channel because I don't remember any of the passwords or the emails, and my friend that helped me run it, she doesn't know either, and it's been almost 20 years. It's called P-Pill Productions because it was from a short that we made called The P-Pill, and it was the short of like it's terrible, and you can literally watch. I'll send it to you guys. It's horrible. It was literally about like, do you have frequent urination? Well, here's this pee pill. It was all of us in church made this stupid video. It was a newscast about how you can get the side effects can include
heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, urination, abnormal growths, normal growths, and moderate to severe death. So ask your doctor today about the pee pill.
FBI, random guerrilla attacks, speaking in Spanish at random times in the day. Like it was just all this stupid stuff. But like that was not
nothing like
good. That was all shit
today. No, like nothing like today, like working with a new client and they ask you to do something and you've never done that before.
Oh, no. That's, well, rephrase that again. Sorry. I'm trying to understand what you mean. Like
you didn't know what live switching was 20 years ago. Is there something today that a client brings up to you and you're like, oh, I've never done this before, but I'll say yes because
SEO.
That's a good one.
A whole other thing where I am still learning all of that stuff.
Have you heard of I think it's GEO? It's generative AI engine optimization.
No, I've never heard of that.
Dude, it's like because ads are coming to LLMs, large language models. So like if you're like, who's the best videography company in Humboldt County? Like you type that in the ChatGPT, it'll be like, Sightseer Productions, Tex Kelly Productions, AAA Productions. Like it'll show who pays the most and who's optimized it the best.
Oh, so basically you're telling me I'm fucked. Nice. Yeah. I love it.
Well, what I've found with my clients is that if you have your SEO, SEO and GEO, they're all interconnected. And that if you're on Google platforms, if I Google you and I'll find you, then I'll find you on ChatGPT. And if I Google the best ice cream shop in Arcata, if you're going to show up on Google, you're going to show up on ChatGPT. So I tell all my clients, at least, be on the internet and be active. Just have stuff out there so that when people do look up ice cream shops in Arcata, you show up on the list. Yeah. And so, you don't have to fight to be number one. You just have to be there.
Yeah. Being present's huge. I mean, that's what I've learned with my social media is I used to get so concerned and worried about how am I representing myself, and if a potential director looks at my stuff, is he going to be like, oh, this guy sucks, or what is he doing, like why is he doing that with like hang out with his daughter editing, like is he going to take my project seriously, yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh shoot, like after I realized, oh, just post things. I know people crap on Gary Vee all the time, but like he mentions like just post stuff, just get out there. Like you have to be out there. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. The SEO stuff and now the GEO, and that stuff's beyond me.
I think it's going to be different than SEO because if you are already on Google and like recognized by Google, you will get recognized on ChatGPT. But I think the way this GEO works is when you say who's the best videography business, like I can like ask to film my wedding, it'll show you and whoever else, and it'll respond like it normally would, like conversationally, but it'd be like, oh yeah, that's a great question. Sightseer is the one you want to go for. So it kind of, I think it's mixing the conversational.
I think eventually like it's going to get to where you pay. The AI is going to take money in exchange.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why people around here are shifting to best videographer or Humboldt's best video photographer or whatever. I've been seeing that a lot lately because I checked with what I do. So my wedding stuff, I'm okay with right now. I've got 15 I'm doing this year, and the word of mouth thing does really well for me. I know if I did all of that stuff, I'd probably skyrocket, which is cool and everything. But at the same time, I'm more of the mindset of I enjoy the workload that I have now, and I don't need a lot more. I've told I think over 100 couples that I can't do their wedding this year, something like that. They tried to book me for this year. I've told so many. In my Honeybook, my booking software, I can see how many people I've said no to, and it's so many. I think it reached 100 and something. Where I'm like, okay, I'm not really hurting there. And plus, my end goal isn't to film weddings for the rest of my life. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's a ton of fun for me, but I love editing documentaries. I love editing features. Those are fun for me. But that side of it, the SEO stuff, I know that I'm probably when people Google Humboldt wedding videographers, they're going to get everyone else and me. I think I only have two reviews or something on my Google reviews, and I get so many emails. Hey, we can help you with this, and this, and I'm just like, I don't want to fork out that much money for it when I'm okay with what I do.
I get a lot of emails actually for the podcast, tons on LinkedIn, tons of email, and there's just and Instagram. People are just like, I can help you with your YouTube SEO and help you reach 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, that'd be nice, but I can't do that right now.
Yeah, if it was somebody that I was friends with and not some guy in a different country that was trying to sell me on that service, then I'd be like, yeah, I trust you with my stuff. Here, you go do what you're really good at, and I'm just going to focus on what I do, and that's connecting with people and doing the word of mouth stuff and everything that I do. But that is a whole different skill set that I'd rather not invest a ton of time into, because I'd rather invest that in editing and learning story and all of that stuff and everything that I do.
Totally. I mean, if you're in a position where you don't have 100 clients, that you're rejecting, and you are looking for jobs and you're looking for work, then you might have to invest time into marketing. And even if you don't have that time, if you don't have money, you have time that you can put into marketing. And one way you can, use that time valuably without spending any money is coming on down to your local small business development center. We can set you up with a marketing advisor that can help boost your SEO, boost your marketing, and find you some clients, find you some customers. So come on down to your local small business development center, free advising and consulting.
Shout out.
And we're back.
We've never used that before.
I want to talk about your transition from your church gig, and getting started and learning the craft into getting into wedding videography, and I think that wedding videography is, in your style in particular, super interesting. Tell me about that transition. What was your first wedding job, and how did it take off from there?
Oh, let's do this. So church, I was one of the worship leaders there, and then there's another worship leader. He was getting married and asked if I would film his wedding. And that did not go well, because I started out doing photography first for weddings, just because I had cameras all the time at church. I was always taking photos, always taking videos, all of that stuff. And then
what cameras did you use, by the way?
Canon T2i, Canon T3i, hacked with Magic Lantern software.
What's the year on this?
Oh, shoot. I don't even remember the year. Ballpark 20. I don't remember. I should have been better about looking into my history, because everything's on Facebook and MySpace. So I should have. Wow, MySpace. That's crazy. Oh, God.
Ancient.
I was young. Still am. But that's camera systems, that stuff. But people saw me using all of that, and they were like, hey, you want to film or shoot this or that? So I started doing things for free at first, because it was church, and it's like, do it for Jesus. And that's what I did a lot. And then, don't do stuff for free. I know I told you this last time, and I'm going to keep repeating it until I'm blue in the face. Unless it leads to something better. But anyway, so I did that, and then a buddy of mine was like, hey, I want you to shoot photos for my wedding. And I said, okay, I was confident in that. Photos, I was definitely confident in. The filming aspect of weddings, I didn't really see a lot at the time because I was just so isolated to church stuff. And so I didn't know what a wedding film looked like. The only ones that I was aware of was like my grandparents, where it looked like it was from 1902. And it was like, oh, hey there, whippersnapper, do you? I do. And then it was like pretty much it. So I didn't know like what styles were out there and all that stuff. And he asked me to film his wedding. I said, okay, I've got one camera. It was the original Blackmagic camera. It looks like an Instagram icon. Throw that up, future Justin, so that people could see. And a really crappy shoulder rig. And so we go to this venue, and it was a winery, but it was almost pitch black the entire time. The only light that was there was candles, and it led up to the not reception area, but to the ceremony area. So it was just candles on the floor.
Not optimal lighting. Not
optimal lighting at all. And homie could have told me this. So it was just this thing. And I had, who was it? It was, another one of my friends. Oh, my assistant. He was shooting the photos, and I was trying to do the video. And I hadn't seen him do any photos prior. So I was just kind of like, hey, do you know how to work a camera? And he said, yes, totally. Cool. Trusted that. And then we do the gig and all that stuff. And I look back on the photos, they're pitch black, totally underexposed. I try to bring them up in Lightroom and Photoshop, and we didn't have, the enhancements of AI and all that stuff like we do now. Could not save anything. And then I looked at my videos. I had a crappy recorder too that I threw in the middle of their vows to try to get their vows. I had it set to, I remember this because of how scarring it was, but I had it set, it was an old H4n, to the XLR inputs, which had no XLR input into it. So there was no microphone going into it, and it was recording just silence. So I didn't get their vows because I didn't use the external microphones on the H4n itself. And then I went through my footage, and it was just trash. It was shaky because in that camera, you may or may not know, but on that camera, it has no in-body stabilization. It is a cinema camera. It is one of those huge cameras where you jitter a little bit and it looks like James Cameron or whatever his name is movie. It's just like, ugh. And it was not good. It was a horrifying experience. And then I told him, like, prior to that, I've never filmed a wedding, just video announcements, our stupid little sketches and our shorts and all that stuff. I have no background in wedding film stuff, and I still have all the emails and texts and stuff because I use it as an example of like where I came from. And yeah, but they were understandably completely pissed off.
I was going to say, like, they had that expectation of you coming in with no experience. And you were transparent with them the whole time, right? Yeah. Then
I told them like the photos for sure. But where I messed up was trusting somebody that said that they were good at photography, because I couldn't bring those photos back. And, we're friends now. Like this is a long, long time ago. This was not recent at all. I think it was like 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, I could not save anything from that thing. And they told me, hey, send us all the raw files for everything, or we're going to take you to small claims court.
What? Really?
Yeah. So we didn't talk for years until 5 or 6 years ago. And it was like, to their credit, said, yeah, we should have listened to what you said. We're sorry for how we treated the situation. And this I can talk about for sure. Yeah, pretty much. But he was like, I should have listened. I was just excited about, you getting an opportunity to film and all this stuff because we saw what you did at church. And I'm like, it's just different. At church, we had stage lights, we had filming equipment. I didn't know I could bring any of that stuff with me at the time to the wedding. They did, and I refunded everything. Yeah. So like I've had situations like that, not many, but where I'm like, I don't deserve the money because this was not the ideal scenario.
Mistakes are necessary, and you make them for a reason, and you learn, and that's how you become better.
Yeah.
I really like that you take that approach, and you take responsibility, and you take accountability, and you do what you have to do to recover and do what you can do best in that situation.
Thanks, dude.
And so I want to talk about your style with your wedding videography.
Yeah.
A lot of wedding videography is just a highlight reel. It's just beautiful dresses and suits, and just the best looking stuff, and it can be a little mundane. It can be a little boring. So you take a different approach. You try to capture a narrative. You try to capture a story within the wedding itself.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more of that process, how it developed, what inspired you to take that approach.
We did the highlight stuff, the very cutesy slow motion. Let me put your dress in a doorway and film that coming in with a gimbal, and did all of that stuff. And the first couple of years that was fun, but I started realizing I was getting bored, and it looks like everybody else's. And the way that I am, I'm very against the grain, against what everybody else is doing. Like, I know there's a space for it, and to an extent you need to do those things in order to survive in my line of work. But I just got so bored with it creatively, and it was kind of, I handled it probably not the best, but I just decided to shift gears a little bit. And I was talking to, I think it was my brother who still works with me about it. And I just said, are you getting bored with doing this slow motion highlight reels where we have like this cinematic music, and it's like 120 frames a second, and they're like walking in a field together, and they take their hands and glide them over the grass slowly, like in Gladiator. And we were like, yeah, we need to figure something else out. So we started doing interviews because I love documentaries, and I started incorporating those more, having them tell their story, and then also getting family members involved. And because, my dad passed a few years ago, and that was kind of the catalyst for that stuff too, because I wish that I would have sat him down and recorded him before he passed, because now, like my daughter isn't able to know him, and my lady is not able to know him. And I wish I could have had a video where they could watch that and get to know my dad. Sorry.
I'm
yes.
I'm actually writing that down. I'm gonna get my dad in the studio,
dude. It's if you like, literally, if you have the access to any of this stuff, grandparents, like whatever it is, like to be able. The only thing that I have from my dad right now is a voicemail asking for me to pick him up from the airport.
Hey, Mijo, it's Dad. Hey, can you pick me up June 1st, Sunday? Because I have to do worship that Sunday morning. Can you pick me up then? And then I'll rearrange to have dialysis on Monday. But call me back and let me know, okay? All right, bye.
And it's hilarious to me because that was our relationship. Like he was a super funny guy. But when that happened, I was like, okay, I need to incorporate this feeling that I have of, I wish I had this stuff, into the wedding film stuff. And so we started doing more interviews. And I think one of the first ones that we did, so the dad of the groom, the father of the groom, ended up getting cancer a couple months beforehand. And so we took him into a room and talked to him for like an hour and a half. Like, hey, I know this might be kind of grim. This might feel a little dark, but can we get an interview with you where, some like words of wisdom to leave behind and stuff. And then it was like an hour and a half. We still have it. It's like one of the coolest interviews that I've ever done. I have never posted it, just out of respect for the family. And it was just one of those things of, his son had never heard certain things because their relationship was very, it wasn't bad. It was just, they didn't tell each other a lot that they loved each other. It was very like, oh, men things. Oh, we don't express emotions. We don't do that. But he broke down, started crying, said how proud he was of his son and stuff. And I'm like, okay, we need to start doing this more. Like, this needs to be more of a thing. So that's what we try to do now. Now, a lot of people around Humboldt get a little bit weird about that because everybody knows everybody and they kind of don't want their stuff exposed, like their stories. But I also don't post a lot of my wedding films. That's the other thing too, is if you're paying me for this wedding film and it gets really intimate, like some of them do, there are several I'm sitting on where family drama or whatever it is, but they still wanted it. They still wanted it in there, and we still do it. But just for them to have that back on, like I love having that feeling of knowing we've got those stories that they wanted, and they're able to watch that now. Especially if somebody passes on, they can go back and watch Uncle Al or whatever, and saying amazing words of wisdom and play it over and over and over and over again. So we started doing that approach just because I wanted something more meaningful, and being obsessed with story like I am, that felt like it filled not only my creative side, but it was something new that we could offer to people. And I knew that I was good at starting conversations with people and getting them to give me stuff and eliciting, or what is it? Eliciting? Yeah, whatever. Stories out of people, because they're comfortable with me. Once I, get that first question out, like people always get nervous about it. They're like, well, I don't really interview well. I don't do this really well. I'm like, cool. What's your favorite color? Like what's your favorite TV show? Oh, you love MASH. I love that episode where this, and this. And then immediately the wall's gone, because you need to meet people where they're at in that space, especially like when you're interviewing them. You don't want it feeling like a job interview. It's just having a conversation. I get emotional with some of the people that we interview, because if I'm going to ask that stuff of you, I need to be able to give the example of it as well. Like even when I'm doing narrative things, I act in short films and random things to show people. I even do it because I don't want you feeling like again, going back to this sterile thing. It's a very intimate thing. It's especially when you're expressing yourself like that with your family. Like I interviewed my grandma one time, 2-hour long interview, I think it was. Not going to see the light of day, but I have that now because it was just a conversation, and I never know what's going to happen with her, but I'm glad I've got that thing. So circling back to, that's just what we've been doing. Some people are into it. Some people are not. I've had grandparents say, no, I don't want to do that. I've had parents get super drunk and say things they shouldn't have and delete it. Like just all kinds of stuff. Like when you work in this space, you deal with a lot. And so, so that's kind of like what we do now. And I love it. I genuinely love it. I love hearing, like I even take stuff from some of the parents or even the bride and the groom, couples, whatever it is, some of the advice that they give, in the middle of it, because they come up with things where they're like, oh, I never even thought about that before. Like I'll ask them things where they're like, oh, I didn't even think that was a thing. Oh, I didn't know that they said that. They said that about me? I'm like, yeah, totally. She said this or he said that or whatever it was. Oh my gosh, it triggers another thought process and all the synapses goes off, and then they start giving me more. And then I have more story to build off of, because it's cool to, especially when it's like a cool family secret that nobody knew. And then now everybody knows it. And then they're like, wait a minute. And it just creates a whole new vibe for the film.
Did you guys pioneer that genre of wedding filmmaking?
No. So there's another guy, Justin Porter, out of Texas. We started doing that, and then he's just huge in that space. He's an amazing videographer, and he's now doing stuff, I think, with the NBA, from wedding films to NBA things and hip hop artists and stuff. But he marketed it way better than me, because I'm just not great at marketing. Like I know my strong suit, and that's definitely not one of them. But he's this loud guy, very loud, very, all right, we're doing this, just all over the place. And ended up crushing it. I think within 2 years, he was blowing up, filming crazy weddings, making tons of money and all of that stuff. And so I think he's the one that started marketing it like that. I don't know really like where it began, but it's documentary filmmaking. That's all it is. So and documentaries have been around for ages, but I don't really know who in the wedding space started doing it that way. I know there have been interviews and stuff in the past, but I'm not sure who took it to the level of, okay, let's make this a whole production. So I know he was the one that did really well with marketing it though. So.
Yeah, because before the pod, you mentioned how we don't create original ideas anymore. We're kind of just like an amalgamation of everything we consume.
Yeah.
So what, I guess, like, how do you incorporate that into, like, you have this idea from somebody, but how do you spin it to make it your own?
It comes down to the person, because there are some people that are amazing with people and some people that are not. I've watched people try to do that style, and it just came off so dry and cold, and you can tell they're not paying attention to the person, especially when it's younger videographers, because with social media and all this stuff, they're not good at being disciplined in that area or in that space, or even having conversations with people. And that's literally all it is being able to hold a conversation with somebody and not checking your phone every 5 seconds or like looking off into different, all of that stuff. So
I don't got to do that this time.
Oh, which take two is great. But like, it just kind of naturally happens. You bring your own twist into things. It's like you could look at this piece of paper and have a bunch of different ideas that I'm not going to have, but you're going to be able to bring your thing to that piece of paper. I don't know what you're going to do. But I think it just comes down to personality. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. That's staying in. That's like with anything really. It's like your guys' podcast is like, I can come in here and host it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to have the same, vibe as you guys do. I don't. But yeah, I think that's really like when I take something on that's already been done, it's just, I tell it in a different way. Like we all tell things in a different way. Yeah. We all have different perspective. I am very passionate about story. I can find a story in anything. That's what I do. I could just literally sit here and think about what if somebody just like broke in? What if the cleaning person right now actually isn't the cleaning person and has been scoping out this entire building for the last 6 months or however long this has been here, and they're just waiting for us to not pay attention to them being there, and then they come and slit our throats with like a mop or something. I don't know. Like my brain is always like on story mode. Like that's going to be my take. You could look at the cleaning person and think, oh, that's a cleaning person. And it stops there. You know what I mean? So like with the documentary filmmaking there's some people in that space that are just like, oh, we're just going to talk to this person and ask this one question and that's it. Whereas me, we're talking about, for instance, the first computer ever made. Like somebody that's super dry that does not know how to get stuff out of people is going to be like, so when did you make the computer? And then that's like it. They have nothing else because they're like, I'm already ready for this conversation to be done. You have to have patience when you're interviewing people. You have to have an understanding of story, how to guide, which, I mean, you're good at like getting things back on track, especially when we need to get out of here. But that's, we all bring different things to the table. Like it's like cooking you got all these ingredients and stuff and you got to figure it out.
Yes. So you're kind of saying like, basically like the way you shoot a wedding would be different from how I would shoot a wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just kind of depends on the person too, because like when I meet with couples, that also inspires ideas. If I'm talking to them about like in my questionnaire, it asks them, what are your favorite movies? What do you love about each other? Just a bunch of different questions and stuff. So that way I can kind of get an understanding and then try to take them out to dinner too and get drinks, or if they drink or whatever it is, just to kind of, so they can get to know me and feel comfortable with me. So when I have my cinema cameras in your face, you're not like, oh my God. And that has helped a lot. I know. That has helped a ton. I went out with a couple recently and it was so much fun. It was like 2.5 hours, I think, 2 hours, 2 hour long dinner talking about Disney and Star Wars and all that stuff. And we're like super nerds and all that. I forgot to bring you your guys' gifts. Damn it. That's what I forgot. Okay. Anyway,
it's all right.
Next time. But yeah, so
thank you though. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's a thought that counts.
Interviewing you the first time, it felt a little more, I guess, routine. We're just going to ask you some questions, get to know you. But I came in already with the mindset, like I'm excited to talk to a videographer about videography and filmmaking and stuff. So I was really excited, but I still am.
Okay. I was like,
I'm talking about like 4. talking about 4 like that in that time.
Yeah.
But now that we've had extended conversations, we've talked for probably like 40 hours already. Mm-hmm. It's cool coming back in here with a different mindset. Like you're a colleague instead of like you're some dude I picked off the street. Like you'd be cool to interview. Let's interview you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, 100%.
Actually, cut that part out. That sounds so bad for guests.
Oh my gosh. No, it's okay.
That kind of is like our process is kind of just going through our, his videography journey and my SBDC journey.
Yeah.
And we're just like picking up people along the way that we're like, I think they'd be a good interview.
That's what you need to do. Like seriously, like that's like when I was doing my podcast, I just find anybody, my friends who are producers, writers, poetry people. I don't know what those are. Poets. Yes. I was like, what is that called? Thank you. Yeah. Like I would find anybody. I would literally go out like downtown, Old Town Eureka. Hey, you want to be on a podcast? Like, I don't care who, because you never know who you're going to find. I found a dude one time, no shit, that used to tour with freaking, oh my gosh, what is his name? Johnny Cash. He used to play backup guitar for Johnny Cash.
That's insane.
And I didn't believe him. And then just through a friend of a friend, I was like, hey, have you ever heard of this guy before? Friggin' yeah. He's unhoused behind the Bayshore Mall, like just hanging out there. And I didn't believe him at first, but he went through a long, I think it was like an 1.5 hour interview. Friggin' crazy story. And then it's all true. He used to tour with them and then just got into things he shouldn't have and then ended up here.
That's why I like podcasting. For example, we had a real estate agent on, and she said her uncle or uncle's friend or something was part of the Foo Fighters.
Something like that.
Pat Smear.
So yeah.
He's his sister's in McKinleyville.
And it's like, and I'm like, give me his contact info. Let's get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be sick if you guys can nail that. He's freaking awesome.
Yeah. And when we were interviewing Case Mandel, I don't know if this episode's going to come out before or after that, but that one will be coming if it's not out. And he makes this pouch for this influencer named Chetty, and he owns Upper Deckies, and Case Mandel manufactures that.
Oh, wow.
And they're business partners. They're like super close. And I'm like, if you can ever get them up here, like that would be sick to nail on the podcast.
That's what I like. I was telling you earlier, you're just like unashamed when you're like, I would love it if you could like pull some strings and make this happen. And there's like no shame at all, which is great. Like you have to, especially if you want this thing to blow up. Like I know it can, if you guys are just like stay true to the course. Like you never know who you can get. I mean, you've already had some awesome people on here that I learned a lot from. Like was the Redwood Capital Bank
Jennifer Budwig.
I was like, oh my gosh, I was taking notes the entire time because I didn't know certain things. I'm like, oh shoot, now I know who I'm going to open an account with.
I think that all of our guests have reached some level of success and stature in the community. And I think that all of our guests started from, what you would think is ground zero, right? And so I think that everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And it's all about, just pricking and prying and pulling it out.
Yeah.
And when you really get someone's story, then you can really, ask more questions on top of that and really learn about them. And what they say is a lot more interesting because they have that story to back it up, right? Like we can, ask you questions about wedding videography, but it's not like backed up until you kind of share your story with us. And you're like, okay, like I started out, I screwed up these jobs, I learned, and now I'm booked out for, the year and I'm making thousands of dollars. Yeah. But I started out with,
nothing.
With nothing. And I think it, one of my favorite parts about capturing those stories is it inspires other people to do the same, that they can start from nothing and they can build themselves up. And everybody has a story. Yeah. You look at each and every person, and if you start picking and prying, they have a whole story behind who they are and what they're about.
It's humanizing. And like, for example, like a lot of people like to shit on millionaires and billionaires for being scummy or too rich or stingy or whatever. But if you sit down and talk to them, they're real people.
Oh yeah.
And they have a story where they started off from nothing, and now they've put in all this work. They've built hundreds of businesses, and now they're the richest man on the planet.
Yeah.
And I used to be really nervous doing the pods with like high caliber guests. And after talking to them and getting the reps in and interviewing them, I'm like, wait, these are just like normal people, and I'm not so nervous to interview them. And like sometimes I have to take a step back because I'm like, oh my God, dude, we're interviewing a CEO of a Fortune 100 company. Like I'm tripping, like this shouldn't be happening. But sometimes I just kind of got to reality check myself and be like, I'm thankful for the opportunities that have come from this podcast. So,
well, yeah. And they obviously said yes for a reason. That's the other thing too, is like, you guys get people on where I'm like, okay, if I was there, they wouldn't be gone until like 2 weeks later, because I'd just be like, oh, hey, this isn't, I want to know this, and this. Like when that happens, when you get the opportunity, I used to be the same way when I was doing podcasts, and sometimes still am, but I get over it immediately, because if I have access to that person, I want to know everything that they know. If Roger Deakins, who has shot a ton of amazing movies, if I had the opportunity to sit with him and they're like, oh, you only have 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to get like 45 out of him. Like overconfidence. But I would just like, I wouldn't even know what to do, but I'd get rid of like the nervousness and just be like, I want to learn everything that I possibly can from you right now. So let's just dive into it. Let's get rid of like these weird, like, I'm not worthy of being here stuff, and just go for it. And like, to your point of like, everybody has a story, is like, yeah, they do. And it's amazing once you get them into their flow, because I love learning from people. Like I've learned stuff from you guys I didn't even think about. Like I didn't know what the hell a GEO was. I knew what a GTO was, like from Pontiac, but I don't know what the hell the GEO thing is. I got to look into that. But you never know what you could find. Like I know 2 really well off people that I just was like, I need all the information. How did you become a billionaire? I know 2 of them, and I'm like, I want to know how you got there. But then you learn like, oh, that's just not my set of skills. Like I would love to be a billionaire, 100%. But what's amazing about them is they are people, and they also know how to put people in positions where they are very successful and where they thrive. They know their hurdles that they have to go through and stuff. Like as far as one of them, I know he's like, I'm not the numbers guy. I'm the idea guy, and I would trust my numbers person to keep everything in check and stuff. He's like, I have the grandiose things. I'm like, awesome, cool. And he's like, I've got my whole team of people that I trust, definitely. And that's just all he does. He's just a creative guy. He doesn't do any of the numbers. He just wants to, he checks in obviously with like his bank accounts and all that stuff and everything that he does. But I asked him, I was like, did you handle your books originally? Or like, he's like, oh yeah, terribly. And then I realized, oh, I could just hire people to do that. And yep, that's cool. Great position to be in.
So for your videography, do you have a team? And how did you build that team? Tell me about that process.
It was originally just me. And then when we started getting more into the documentary style of stuff, I realized quick that I cannot do it by myself, because it's easy to do the one-man band thing as far as psyching yourself up and all that. But when it comes to the workload, I'm bringing all this. I'm bringing multiple cameras. There's so many things happening on a wedding day that I couldn't be everywhere all at once. Isn't that a movie? Everything? Yeah, something like that. But anyway, so I realized, okay, I need to find somebody. And then I ended up using my brother. He came on. And I've been through some people because it is stressful. Like we were talking about earlier, it's high paced. It can be very stressful, especially if you're not built for that environment, because you're dealing with drunk people. You're dealing with coordinators that might not be the best and aren't good at their job. And they don't know that, but they saw an opportunity to make money. And they're like, oh, hey, so you have to deal with certain personalities and how to manage that. And so with the people that I've worked with and that I brought on, they have to be able to, and they do, take direction well and know how to operate in that environment, because it can be very brutal. Weddings are like full of love and happiness and joy and all that stuff. But behind the scenes, I would love one day to produce a reality show about weddings, just the behind the scenes stuff, because it would be amazing content. I pitched it here, but a lot of people said no, because everybody knows everybody, and you'd have to do it in somewhere like in LA. But my brother is with me. My lady is with me occasionally, but she's the director of Parks and Rec in Fortuna now. So that's eating up a lot of her time. So now we're bringing in my friend Aaron to help out. And then we just talked, and then Andrew's going to come on. I already have 2 that I think I want you on. So it's like just pulling on who's willing, because it's good money, but also you have to pay attention, because like I'll be mean sometimes. I have to be, because especially when I'm being paid a lot of money and they know me for a thing, it's like, we have to get this done. I don't care if you're going through a breakup right now in the middle of this wedding, like you have to focus, because if you mess up, that's coming back on me and I'm going to have to explain that. And so I am sometimes pretty straightforward and direct about like, hey, we need this shot. And it's not me being mean or anything like that. It's me. We got to go right now. And I am very grateful to my crews, but when it's a shoot, like we have fun, but it has to get done. So
totally. And I think that any office and any work, anything where you're getting paid, you have to strike a balance between having fun and being professional. And I think that's a great challenge that everybody faces in life is, you grow up as a child having fun and playing, and then you have to acclimate yourself to this work world where you have to be professional, and there's a goal, and you have, it's performance based. And if you don't perform, there's repercussions. And we're in a world where not everyone gets a trophy,
right?
And so you have to earn it. And if you're not going to go out there and earn it, then it's going to be tough in the work environment.
Hello, everybody. I'm Luke Kennedy, building manager at Startup Humboldt. Behind the Redwood Curtain is recorded and produced at Startup Humboldt. Startup Humboldt is a co-working space mentorship hub for entrepreneurs building real businesses here on the North Coast. You can learn more at startuphumboldt.com.
I'm so passionate about this side of it too, especially excellence in whatever it is that you do. Like with me, with the filming stuff, I always try to be excellent in the thing that I'm hired to do. And if I don't know the thing, I'm going to go learn it from somebody that's better than me. But you have to be obsessed with it too. Like that's where, especially if you're going to be successful, you really have to be obsessed with the thing. And sometimes that means not having late nights or, getting high at the beach. And then because you never know what that's going to, especially in a smaller environment like we're in Humboldt County, like there's a lot of grace here because we're known for what we're known for. But I am very obsessed about the things that I do and always trying to be the best that I possibly can be. And sometimes that means saying no to things that I would have loved to do. Like it took me a long time, I will be completely honest with you, to mature in business because growing up, we had no value for money or business in general. It was you spend money when you got money. You just in, out super quick, buy things and take out loans that you can't pay back, all of that stuff, overdraft your account.
Get another loan to pay off that previous
exactly. Loan. And then 10 grand later or more. I love my dad. My parents were not great at that side of things. So I didn't really have the value for business or anything until maybe 7, 8 years ago. I'll have to correct that in editing. But
yeah, you mentioned in the last podcast, we can get into it if you want, but if not, then the viewers are just going to have to kind of be imaginative. But you didn't really have the best schooling, right? And you also didn't go to college. Yeah. So how did you end up kind of paving your own way and figuring out how to be a good leader, how to be strict when money's involved, and how to keep people on top of their stuff and mold into being a business owner instead of a colleague?
That was hard because, again, we didn't have the value for any of that stuff. Since we were in such a very conservative Christian home, it was...
Where is this, by the way?
Oh, have you ever heard of Gualala? It's okay, because you're from Southern Cal. You both are from, actually, you're East Bay, right? Okay, so you're SoCal, so you're not going to know. But it's this really tiny town, 2.5 hours away from here. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. It's a coastal town, but it's very, very small, smaller than Fortuna, smaller than Rio de... It's just...
But this is Humboldt County?
No, it's... Mendocino County, I would consider it.
Smaller than...
It's probably smaller than
What about Oric?
Then it was, but...
What about Oric?
Oh, God.
Smaller or bigger?
No, I'd say it's a little bit bigger. But that's where I was for... We've moved around a ton, so I won't get into all that. But my dad was a worship leader, so we were moving all over California for jobs that he got and stuff. So, because he was a singer and a guitar player. But this was in Gualala, and we were homeschooled. We got these things called life packs, which were the Christian version of curriculum from school, from homeschooling. And a lot of it was Christian based and stuff. So we didn't know anything about US history or whatever. It was Noah and the Ark and this begot this, Cain and Abel, blah, 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 blah. I still believe in God and everything, but just not to the religious extent. We were raised in, we were in this bubble. But we weren't really forced to do anything. So we kind of had to figure things out on our own. Some of us did better than others, but it got to the point where I was in my garage trying to teach myself math. Because I was not being set up for success. I had no idea what anything was. I didn't know how to use fractions. I didn't know how to use a times table. I knew none of that stuff. And so I'm sitting, I remember at one point when we came to Fortuna, I was in my garage just with this math book, how does this make sense? I don't understand this. We had no teacher. My teachers were my mom and my dad. They didn't know. They had no idea what they were doing. And so it was very figuring it out. And then I ended up, it was not a great childhood. I ended up going into being adopted by a family, and then I had to go to public school. It was Zoe Barnum School in Eureka. It was a continuation school, which is no longer there, I've learned. There's a different version of it. I don't know what it's called now. But I went there for my senior year of high school. Holy crap. Oh my God. It was the craziest experience of my life because I didn't know that the world existed. And so I came out of homeschooling into this and learned way too much, way too fast. Like, oh, girls. Yeah, that was interesting. But it was like, it's the continuation school is pretty much where, for anybody that doesn't know, it's where not the greatest people go. And it's kind of like, I had no credits to be able to go to Eureka High. So I had to go to this school, and it was not great. But I ended up meeting a really good friend who walked me through all of that stuff. But then that's where also I found reading. I remember our teacher, our English teacher, I don't know, actually I'm still learning what he was exactly, but we read books and wrote about them.
Maybe like a English literature class
probably.
Or something?
Yeah, we read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. And that's where my obsession with reading started, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you can like create things from your brain. And like,
this is 12th grade?
Yes.
So I find it super fascinating that, you're learning, you're trying to teach yourself math.
Yeah.
Growing up, I dreaded that because I was always in math class. I was, forced by my parents to take the toughest classes and take my brother, who's a year older, do his homework.
Oh, wow.
And and so I was like, this, I saw it as work.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I did it, but reluctantly.
Yeah.
Whereas you're in the garage, you're like, oh, I'm actually like going out of my way to do this.
Yeah.
And then 12th grade, you are becoming interested in reading. You're passionate about it. And in 12th grade, for me, I was like trying to get as far away from a book as possible because I was forced to read books for all my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I just want to go hang out with my friends, get me away from this book. And so I just like, looking at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like a complete opposite. But I think it's fascinating that because you weren't forced to do math or forced to read books, you actually took passion and enjoyment, whereas I see it as a chore.
Yeah.
These days, I'm actually rejuvenating my interest in reading.
Hell yeah.
But, being forced to read definitely, changes your mentality and shifts your mindset towards those things. So I think it's really interesting.
I think it's because like I feel the same exact way.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I was just ready to go on and start my life and not fucking worry about pre-calc or math or English or reading or anything. But I think it's because we had the resources like off rip, like basically like right at the start.
Yeah.
Whereas you didn't.
Right.
So once you discovered it, you're like, oh my God, I want to learn so much more about it. And like, that was the same thing with me for like video games, for example. Like I didn't get to play many video games when I was growing up. Like all my friends were playing Call of Duty and GTA, and I never got to play it. But then when I finally got to, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Like I want to learn all about it. And like, obviously now that I've had it forever and I'm an adult now, so I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. I don't see it as like, when am I going to be able to do it next?
Yeah.
So like for you, like that's pretty cool that you discovered it and you wanted to learn more about it.
Yeah, that was, during that time too, we had people come in to try to teach us stuff, but like we were isolated. Like my grandma, who I'm super close with, tried to be our teacher for a little while, and she did push some of the reading, and I hated it originally. Like we started learning U.S. history, and it was only for, I think, almost a year or a little bit of a year, but she tried her best to come in, and because she saw the situation of we're not being educated. And so I want to do what I can and help them out. And so we went to school at her house in Ferndale, and she did her best. But I was an asshole. I made fun of it because I just didn't have the value for any of that stuff. Like, and then until I started realizing, like, through her eyes, how foundational that stuff was and how much we needed it. I think that's where, like, now that I think about it, where it really started to shift. But I was like, and that was around the time I was teaching myself everything, because it was that war of, I felt stupid around people that were, in the world who were educated and stuff, because I had no idea what they were talking about, like history stuff, mathematics, and I had no idea what was going on. And then like, I'd be in the garage, like super shameful. And then when my grandma would try to help out, I'd get mad at her because then I felt stupid because I didn't know what she was talking about. I had no idea what was going on. And she'd get mad at us because she's like, I'm trying to help you. I'm like, no, you're not. You suck. Like, it was just like that rebellious thing. It's because I wasn't mad at her. I was mad at the fact that I felt dumb because I had no idea what she was saying. I had no idea who the U.S. president was, the second one or the first one, or none of that. Now I do, I think. But that's kind of like, it sucked. Like for a while, there's a lot of shame with not knowing that stuff. And then when I got obsessed with it, it felt like I found Jesus all over again. Just having wisdom and knowledge and realizing like, oh, I have like everything at my fingertips. And like, if I want it that bad, I can just learn it. I can just go out and, I still suck at math. That's why I have people do it for me. But like reading and writing, I love those things. Those are my jams. Like I will hire anything math out to everybody else. Like I can get by for sure. But, yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. But like when you're talking about when you're forced to do something, you're going to start, rejecting it because we go through our process of I don't want to do that thing or whatever it is. It's just like burdensome, but we don't realize what it's going to do for us in the long run. Like I wished I had a different background. Like when people talk about regrets, like not having regrets, that was a huge regret. I wish I was confident enough to tell my parents I want to go to school. I want to have an education. I want to go do this stuff. Because I'd be in a way different spot and I wouldn't have gone through some of the things I didn't really need to go through in order to, get where I'm at now. Like I would be in a way different spot, but I mean, there's grace for the process, whatever. But I also know that now I have a huge value for education, whether that's teaching yourself or if you know what you actually want to do, go to college for whatever that thing is. It's like, I don't like when people go to college just to figure themselves out. Like if you know what you want, then great, go do that. But don't go waste like I don't know how much it is to go to college.
Thousands to hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, it's like to figure yourself out. No, go to like a know myself program. Figure that out.
Or move away to a different town and figure yourself out.
Or community college.
Yeah,
if you're in California because it's free.
Yeah. I think college is definitely like a mix. Like obviously you want to go there so you can pursue your life goals, but it's also like a figuring yourself out. Because I moved up here when I was 17 and that I was learning how to be an adult and go to school and stuff. So like I kind of like, cause I was living by myself, like no parents. So I kind of had to figure out my own way. And like, yeah, I reached out for help, but like also at the same time, it's taking the initiative to learn a routine and stick to it and stuff. But do you think if you went to school, and this might be a little controversial, not gonna lie, if you went to school, say you had the, I guess, average childhood where you...
Oh, sorry.
where you went to school, would you be ahead now or would you be behind?
That is such a good question because I would like to think in a different timeline if we're going with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and we can just go to every timeline that we want to. Yeah, I think I would be ahead in certain things, but then there's also the catch-22 of would I have taken the creative risks that I have without having that stuff, or you know what I mean? Like, would I be? I don't know, and that's such a crazy thing to think about too, because I would like to assume in a different timeline I'd be way more successful and stuff. Because again, if you're set up for success, it's like in filmmaking, same thing is if you know how to light things, you know how to do this and this, you have all of the wisdom and all of the knowledge, you are set up for success to accomplish this thing. I think that, I think I would have been better about, tax season if I would have been educated better with math and all of that stuff. And learning what taxes were. Like, I didn't know what those were until way later in life. I was so isolated from stuff. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. But yeah, I think I would.
Like if you went to college, like obviously like high school and stuff, like if you started in elementary and went all the way to high school, like you'd probably be where you're at right now. But if you went to a 4-year college like Cal Poly Humboldt, like, do you think there's a possibility of you being behind or even further ahead than you are right now?
I honestly don't know, because it's one of those situations of you make decisions with like what you're given, and that's what I ended up doing in my situation. But if I was in that situation, as far as being set up for success, maybe, I don't know, like when I started learning more math stuff, I started realizing, oh, this is actually an art in itself. Like maybe I would have gone that route. Maybe I would have gone down a literary route and, could have been an author, or I still could. But I don't know. It's like we were talking about earlier, is sometimes when you don't know, just say you don't know. And I have no idea. I think me now, I like to imagine there's another me successful on another timeline after being educated, having schooling, and going through college and all of that stuff. Because in this timeline, I had to be scrappy and obsessive with things that I wanted to do and make do with what I had and figure it out.
Yeah, I think everything happens for a reason, and I think that had life been different for you, you might not have had been as successful as you are today. And that you were talking about some of the creative risks.
Yeah.
And that after you graduate from school, you might have this debt and you might be forced to go work this job. And so, you're pretty soon your 20s slip away and you might not have been presented with the same opportunity.
Yeah.
Had you, gone down the education route. And for me personally, it's definitely a lot less, basically, I went to community college and I came here when I was 21. And so I went to 3 years of community college.
And you're 24 now?
I'm 25.
25 now, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was it your birthday recently?
February 17th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. And so I did 3 years of community college, but after my second year of community college, I didn't have the credits to quite transfer yet. And a lot of my friends that were going to community college did.
Yeah.
And I saw them go off to STSU, UCSB, Cal Poly, whatever. And I'm still at community college.
Yeah.
Not a great feeling.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. But, I worked through it, worked through my last year, transferred. And I was super stoked when I did get that transfer. And I think that I was a little more appreciative of my opportunity.
Yeah.
I think I was a little more mature. And I think that I might not have gotten the job offer that I did after graduating had I gone a different direction or graduated a year earlier.
Yeah.
And that I had friends that were graduating a year before me, and I was going to their graduation, going down to SoCal, and because I'm happy for my friends. I want to see them succeed. But they, maybe just didn't have the same approach to college, in that they weren't as gung-ho on finding employment as I was. And so they, didn't maybe find the unemployment, or they didn't find the employment that they wish they had. And so I look at that and I'm like, things do happen for a reason. And, the universe, the Lord, whoever you want to make responsible for what happens in this world, has a plan for you.
Yeah.
And, things happen for a reason. And I really like to just appreciate that, the setbacks that I had are there for a reason. And it ultimately helped me reach success. And I think some of the setbacks that you had in your early life ultimately projected success at this point in your life. So I just want to say that I think your story is, very admirable in that. You said, I'm going to learn math. I'm going to make myself learn math. I'm going to make myself learn to read. Yeah. And, I'm going to become an asset in this work world that I'm so unfamiliar with. Yeah. And I think it's really cool that you did that.
Thanks, dude. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you think that with you going to CC for 3 years while all your friends were going off to these big colleges, do you think that you're more ahead of them now?
Some of them.
Big colleges.
Yeah, I think some of them were more academically mature than I was. And so they, went further and they have good jobs, and they're a little bit more ahead of me than, some of my friends, they, didn't have that same mindset. And so they fell behind. None of my friends are in a bad situation, they're all employed, but you have a certain idea of what type of employment you'd like after you graduate. And so some of my friends were able to achieve that. Some are still working towards it. But to answer your question, do I feel like I'm more ahead because I did the community college route? Yes. I think that I would have not succeeded had I gone straight to university.
Now, when you guys are saying ahead, because that can mean a bunch of different things, what do you mean by ahead? Do you mean like in the same space, or do you mean just in life in general, as far as like how are you measuring what ahead looks like?
At this point in our life, annual salary.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's I mean, this is a business
Because we're not going to have families at this point in our life.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
by success, like, because they all went, like all of his friends went to 4 year or finished their 4-year degree, going 2 years community and then 2 years regular college or whatever.
a lot of them just went 4 years at the regular.
Okay,
Yeah, or that too.
So there's 2 waves after
But-
high school seeing them, and then after the 2 years. So yeah,
Yeah, but you doing 3 years at community college and then you did 2 years at Cal Poly?
2 years at
one.
Cal Poly.
Yeah. And you were still able to get gainful employment right off graduating, whereas some of them go to San Diego for 4 years and are $300,000 in debt and can't find work.
Yeah. I think a lot of them end up in that situation, and it's rough. They're under this huge financial burden. Their parents have to step in and help out. I don't think, I'm interested to see what happens in the long run, just because we're only, 2-3 years out of graduation. So I think all of my friends will make it, but it is interesting to see, who's, where people's careers go. And I think a lot of my friends, like, their education was paid for. They didn't have to take out any student loans. So they kind of saw, in that, like, if you're in that situation, then you're not as like, you're like, oh yeah, after I graduate, I think I'm going to travel for a few years. Just
totally
just go around.
different.
I'm like, man,
Well, that's what you want to do too.
Yeah,
you want
I'm
to
just
travel,
like
yeah.
at my office, and I'm like, what? But
Dude, you're a traveler, bro.
yeah, and so but everything happens for a reason, and I was like, you know what? There's most people in the world don't even get the opportunity to travel because they can't even afford the plane ticket.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And at least I get to be in a position where I have the opportunity to travel, X amount of times a year. Yeah. And so I'm like, instead of sitting here and skulking at, this, Instagram and these other people doing these great things, I'm like, I'm going to create my own great memories.
Yeah.
Dude, it could also hurt them in the long run too. Like, yeah, they got their college paid for and stuff.
They're getting lazy.
Yeah, but then, like, they have everything handed to them, and then they're like, oh, I just graduated, I have no debt, I'm gonna go travel the world for 3 years. Boom, they're 3 years like set back in maybe their career trajectory. Like, maybe not like meeting people and making connections, but
because that's very situational though too, because there's some people who just don't care. Because I know people that were set up for success immediately. There's college, everything paid for all of the time. And then they just kind of travel, do not even that, maybe just sit at home and be a couch potato full time for a few years or whatever it is. And then eventually they just go into, what it is that they want to do. And it's like, just to play devil's advocate, I don't think it's behind or setbacks or anything like that. Some people choose to do that just to do it because they want to. And then there are some people where it does put them behind, because then they end up realizing like, oh man, I really fucked off for way too long. Like, what am I doing? But then it's also, you argue with, but did you feel a need for a while? And then you're coming back to that thing of like, are you actually behind? Like, because that's why it's always a situational. There's some people where they just want to do that. There's some people that they don't. There's some people it does set. I don't know. It's just, I've seen every avenue of that. Like, I've watched people be so set up for success where I'm like, man, if I was in your position, I'd be doing this, this, and this. I'd be paying this person and investing in this and yada, yada, yada. And you're off in Bali taking photos. Cool. Awesome. Which looks like AI. I don't know. I don't know.
Sometimes that person, they have a helicopter booked to take them to the top of the mountain.
Dude,
so,
right?
So, if they're like, yeah, I'm going to graduate and I'm going to travel for a few years. And then when I get back home in the States, I'm going to, I have this job lined up, and it's, I'm pretty much get hired on whenever I get back from vacation.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good position.
And
to
so,
be in.
yeah. And then, and then,
which go you.
Yeah. I'm like, good for you,
Yeah.
And hopefully I get to know that person and then I get hired on too. Right.
Well, yeah. That's why it's always like, that's what I'm saying. It's always situational because you never know the heart or the intent of the person. Like you have no idea what's going on, but then you meet people like that who are just like, they're out doing their thing, yada, yada, yada. And they want to build up people for success and do all that, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. You're not a bad person at all.
Sometimes they're like the sweetest and most innocent people there are because they haven't been put through the gauntlet of fire.
Yeah.
And so that kind of it can kind of jade you a little bit, and you get a little rough around the edges when you get put through that gauntlet of fire, and you have to go through adversity.
Yeah.
But if you're so some of the people I met that just live this very they're not very hyper competitive with their career.
Right.
They're like the most relaxed people I know. And then you got me over here, and then I'm like, I kind of seem like an asshole because I know
what you mean. I absolutely know what you mean.
You can tell 1,000% when somebody's been put through it, like business owners and stuff. Like you can tell when they've been through some shit. Cause like when you talk to them, they're just like, they kind of know and can kind of sniff things out pretty quickly.
Oh, a mile away.
Like, for example, Evan, like, you can tell he's been through it, So he has like a I don't give a fuck attitude, and like I kind of see that from you as well.
Yeah,
because like you've been through it, you've seen some mistakes. Some people have been like mean to you in this way, so you know how to play it safe. And like with Case as well, like as soon as he sat down, we started talking to him. I'm like, oh yeah, this motherfucker's been through some shit for real,
dude. Yeah. Oh my gosh, just sitting there, listening to some of the stuff. I'm like, oh, he's got stories for days. And I know a lot of it he can't talk about, but I'm sure there's just so many things where I'm like, oh, because like I used to film for somebody in that space, and just seeing the back end of it, I'm like, oh, I've seen you guys go through some stuff when it was like the black market stuff. But anyway,
it's pretty cool to see people like that, because it shows that you can be successful in like something you are passionate about and stuff. So it's something to strive for. I definitely someday want to be like them, where I just don't give a fuck about anything.
I think it's like, I was on my way here and listening to a bunch of like Machiavelli things, because people have their opinion about that whole system and our belief system and stuff. But it's just very like about the self, from my understanding, is about the self and about like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do. But he talks about in his philosophy is being ruthless, but being ruthless doesn't mean being mean. And that's kind of like what I took away from it. I know I'm just totally downplaying some of the other things, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I got distracted by that. I was trying to figure out what noise I was going to do next. Anyway, but with you though, I wanted to so with you want to travel, you want to do all of that stuff like we've talked about last time. When is that going to start taking place for you? Like, what's that going to look like? Are you going to be here for a year and then take off, or?
No, just using my vacation time. They're pretty nice here at the SBDC with that. So
where we're at right now.
Yeah. So
shout out.
I'm not good at that like you are. I'm not good at that's the amazing thing about you is you gradually just do like your story, and it just blends right in with.
If you guys want to be able to travel, come down to the SBDC and apply today.
Yeah, I should be like a travel agent.
You should be.
Yeah, with that like no, yeah. So not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm going to Salt Lake City, Utah. Because they have those Breeze Airway flights. So I got round trips for $120.
Dude, score.
So me and my girlfriend are going for $240. Oh my gosh. Yeah, huge deal. So we're going to see a Utah Jazz game. We're going to go to a thermal nuclear volcano hot tub.
Whoa.
That's not thermal nuclear. It's geothermal hot spring.
I was getting ready to ask you so many questions.
Volcanic. I'm not a science person, clearly.
Geologist.
And then this summer we got tickets for Europe. We're gonna go to London. We're gonna go to the Netherlands. And then some other SoCal and some other things.
Dude, I'm so stoked for you. That's freaking awesome. Like, how long are you going to be gone for at that trip?
Salt Lake is 4 days, and then Europe is going to be 11 days in Europe and then 4 days in LA.
Okay.
because we're going to go to LA, hang out there for a few days, go to Europe, come back for a few days, and then because me and my girlfriend are both from SoCal, so
okay,
So I decided, you know what, I have time off, I have money finally at this point in my life, and I have instead of just watching other people travel, I think I'm going to do it myself. And I went ahead and booked tickets, and I'm really excited. It's all I can talk about.
That's amazing.
I'm happy that I'm doing that. I think that I'm going to do a lot of traveling in my life, but the traveling that I do now is always going to be special because of how young I am and how much how cheap I am with how I'm traveling. Discount everything, which makes it even more fun.
So you just start your own YouTube channel, The Frugal Traveler, or something like that.
That'd probably pop.
Yeah. I've actually, kind of have a list of discount airlines and how to find cheap Airbnbs, like Airbnb hack. And this only works if there's a lot of Airbnbs in the area. You wait till like the very last second, and then all the Airbnbs for like the next few days get dropped, because if they don't sell, then they just lose the money.
Like a certain time in the season, or
right before, like let's say you're looking on Airbnb, if you just don't book your Airbnb and you wait until the very last second and book it last second, it's very cheap. But then you're rolling the dice because someone else might book it.
Oh yeah.
So it only works if you're in a high population area where there's a lot of Airbnbs, and then that you're going to get one.
That's a good one.
So this is an so I've discovered all these little ways that I can save money. And so I'm going for volume. I'm going for quantity of vacations, rather than spending like my whole salary on one vacation. So strategizing my vacation, strategizing my traveling, to maximize that experience.
Do you have like activities planned for
lots
of them? So you're already like down. Okay, cool.
We're actually going to watch the World Music Championship.
The world
in the Netherlands. It's like a instrumental band thing.
Okay.
And my girlfriend's brother is in a competitive band, and they're going to go compete
there.
Yeah, they're like,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, against like teams across the world.
That's freaking rad.
And
oh my gosh.
We got tickets, and we're just gonna the tickets were super cheap, and we're just gonna
was this another hack that you're gonna tell us about, or should we keep that on the down?
No, you get the tickets all the way in the back in the nosebleeds.
The nosebleeds.
Yeah. That's the hack.
Behind the nosebleeds, there's another section like way down below where they keep the office supplies and the cleaning supplies.
Yeah. You can't really see the game from there, but if you like put a mirror,
Yeah, we have like this whole system where we can like take the mirror and go like this.
Yeah, you take turns holding it.
Dude,
one on top of the other.
When I was a kid, when my parents used to take me to wrestling events, we used to get like the nosebleeds all the way up in the corner. So we were like right almost behind the curtain of like the stage, because it would be like the stage right here and then the curtain, and we're like right at the edge.
Yeah.
And it was still a blast, but my dream was always to sit here, because I always loved their stages and watching them walk out. So like hopefully someday take my girl to a WrestleMania or something.
Yeah.
And sit like over here.
That would be so sick.
That would be. Speaking of which, WrestleMania tickets, bro, are like 14,000 for like front row. Like
that makes sense.
Getting to Super Bowl prices.
Well, you look at like who's in the front row, like all the Paul brothers, a bunch of actors and stuff. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they just recently, they've been in this is a huge tangent, but they've been in like panic mode and like discounting their tickets like crazy because nobody's buying them.
Dude, good. No,
people are fed up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they gotta price it correctly.
Yeah. Last podcast.
Yeah.
You guys are never going to see this, by the way. That podcast.
That's for us.
You wanted to ask us questions.
Yeah.
Kind of like a reverse interview.
Yeah.
Was there anything that
we're kind of hitting on all of it already? Like we're kind of already going down that a little bit.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, because like my thing with you guys is you talk a little bit in previous episodes about the things that you want to do, and then our episode that's not going to ever air, we talked about some stuff too. But like, because you guys are young. I mean, I'm 10 years older than I think you, Luke, and then I'm significantly older than you. but math. But yeah, I was trying to see, you know, like what your guys' dreams were and all of that stuff. And then come to find out yours is to be wrestling in WrestleMania. Just kidding.
No, that'd be pretty cool. But no, definitely like something to do with like operations or being a.
When you say operations, sorry to interrupt, but like when do you mean like Navy SEAL stuff? Like you want to work in
like managing a business from the back end. Like no one will ever know me. Like I just want to be doing
the guy in the
something
shadows
that keeps the wheels moving, basically.
Okay.
Or someday being an editor for the WWE. That'd be pretty fucking cool. That's like the way they edit their promo packages and like they call them vignettes, stuff like that.
That'd be sick.
I love the way they use sound, like their sound design.
Sound design's awesome.
Yeah, and their just the way they storytell with those promos are like, that's like what I really want to go for.
Why don't you just hire a couple local wrestlers around here and make those, cut them yourself and just start showing like that you can do that? True. I'm not even remote. Like it sounds like I'm joking.
No,
but like sometimes I have good ideas. This is one of them. Thank you, everyone. I know sometimes I'm full of great ideas.
We have a D2 team right here.
Yeah. So like,
why don't you start doing that? Like just pitch them like, hey, I need to get better at editing this style of whatever. Can we do this? And just start cutting things like that for people.
Kind of building up like a portfolio or
because
something.
All of those guys that cut for, you know, WWE, UFC, they're all online and they're always like so present in their social media, even though they may not post for like years on end, they still scroll like crazy. Like you never know who you can get in touch with. Like
True, yeah.
If you just put your thing out there and you're like, hey, look at this, and then hire me for stuff. That was a dick joke. Cut that out, Justin. But huge dick. Yeah. But anyway, just shook the whole table because it's like you never know where that could lead. So you want to be like an operations manager, but it like when I say dream, and I know there's a whole guy on Instagram and he's like, what is your dream? Which he stole that from me. I'm kidding. He didn't. We don't know each other. But what's the ultimate goal for you, like ultimate dream? Like it just seems wildly not possible, but you want it so bad, like that just tickles your hide and you're like, yes, this thing.
It's definitely in between
the editing
and working in operations.
Where did the operations thing come from? Because to me, as somebody that's super creative, I look at that and I'm like, I know it can be an art, but what drove you to choose that thing?
Running my own business and working with, like I've had like summer jobs where I'm like helping out in the office or like organization and stuff. I feel like I've always been pretty exceptional at organization. Like my asset management for videos.
You're good at managing assets. Okay.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And I think it'd be really cool to experiment more with that and like obviously get better over time, because obviously like I can say I'm good at it right now, but there's always things to improve on.
So you're very technical as far as organizing things. And so if I like opened up one of your files, I'm not going to see a bunch of mislabeled clips and things all over the place. It's going to be pretty structured.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
If actual video files being labeled is something you're going to look for.
Gotcha.
You're not going to get any of that.
It's rare that happens anyway.
Yeah, but I have them organized like, you know, like A cam, B cam, audio, raw footage, final cuts.
And that's your thing. You like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to be king shit of fuck mountain. That's what you want to be. That's your role.
Yeah. Like the hard shit that nobody does.
Yeah.
Like, I like that stuff.
Now, do you want to be recognized for that stuff? But you mentioned being, and are you actually okay with not being recognized for the hard work that you put into things?
No, I don't care. Just as long as I'm able to be comfortable. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm chilling off that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't need public recognition for knowing how to organize a video file, you know?
Then why do you market your business?
To get more jobs.
This insatiable thirst for being noticed. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That was a joke.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. No, there you go. Yeah.
I just like being on the camera. What's
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Cool. No, because I'm always interested in people that choose like, how do I want to word this? Not in a way where it sounds mundane or anything. Like it's not the job I picture as far as, or like what I imagine, but like when people pick jobs, like I want to be an accountant. Like that's your dream. Like some people are just built like that, or was that like a preconditioned idea into that person to decide to be in that role? Or
you want to
like,
know something funny too?
I do. Yes,
I got into it because I used to watch time lapse videos of the WWE stages being built, and like that.
That's for the editing thing.
No, organization.
Real? Oh
Yeah.
my! So WWE is like really your thing.
Oh yeah.
Like so, if you like cut yourself open, there's just like WWE everywhere.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
just a bunch of wrestlers
we
come
can
out.
have a whole podcast on that, but that's pretty saturated. I mean, podcasts are pretty saturated. Business podcasts are everything's saturated.
Everything is saturated. We just we have our spin on it. Everything.
Not Humboldt themed podcasts.
That is true.
There are very few out there.
There are very few.
All of them that are up here and doing it, they're not uploading consistently either.
Yeah,
that's hard.
They're like from a few years ago, and they like they did a few months. And
Okay, so actually that leads me into the next question. What is your goal with this podcast? Like, are you guys wanting to monetize it and then blow it the hell up and then eventually stop hosting it and have somebody else host it? Or what's that look like?
I think for me, this podcast is a chapter in my life. So, we're both not from here. We're from different places in California, and we lived in a much different world in there, but we came to Humboldt and we're now in the same world. We're in the same universe. And we have the opportunity to capture this part of our life.
Yeah.
And so why not do it? So I'm really like capturing this chapter in my life that is Humboldt. And so that's why I really like to keep it about Humboldt and keep it behind the Redwood curtain. And also I think documenting what's going on here in Humboldt is also valuable to me, because I think that one day Humboldt's going to be a much bigger and different place.
Do you?
And yeah.
Oh, I want to dive into that after you're done with this.
And I think that having this is going to be like historical data. And it's going to be like, oh, look at like, this is the footage of like the people who ran Humboldt County. Mm-hmm. And like, this is this business owner and this is this banker and, so I think that 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, this footage will hold value in like some weird way, because it captured a moment in time that was overlooked because it's hidden behind this Redwood curtain.
Yeah, that was the mission for this podcast. And when I pitched it to Luke, he was like, I'm in.
Okay, so you pitched it and then...
This was
okay.
Yeah. I was like so down.
That's awesome, dude.
My original goal was just literally randomly, one day I was with my friend, I was back home for a few days, and I was like, dude, like, what if I started a podcast? And he was like, you should do it. And I'm like, all right, like I will. Yeah. And then there's this whole story, like I wanted to save up like 20 grand to get all this fancy equipment and like get a studio and stuff. But then when I was talking to one of my advisors, they said, why not just launch it now? And like, I wanted to have this whole like marketing thing, like hyping it up. But he's like, nobody's going to care. Nobody knows who you are. So like, why don't you just release it right now and just learn as you go. And I'm like, okay. And then we released it, but it's to forever solidify who's running Humboldt County and who the leaders are at this time. And like, as things go on, like for me personally, like I hope to be doing this for a long time. And I just want to capture and watch the evolution of Humboldt County grow, because I think we're in a good spot right now to where, and in the next few years, like Humboldt County is going to be hopefully either internationally or nationally or whatever, or globally recognized as some place. And I want to be able to capture that. So like when somebody's like, what's Humboldt County about? They can watch this and be like, oh, there's so many cool people up here. So that's like the mission that I'm trying to go for.
So Humboldt County is known for a lot of things. And I mean,
we're trying to change that.
Yeah. Timber, shiver meat timbers, and then also because you guys are not from here originally, but you're talking about you can't wait to see where Humboldt goes and stuff. And I've seen you ask it with other guests as far as like where do you see it going in 5 years or whatever it is. Where do you guys? We'll start with you. Luke.
Well-
Hi, welcome to Justin's podcast. It's called Justin and Friends. Today we're talking with two white guys. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
3/4. Yeah.
Where do you cut that out? Where do you see Humboldt going? Because I'm not from here either. I'm from Southern California as well. So it was a culture shock coming here when it's like, I always have described Humboldt as a place in time where it doesn't know where it exists, like a Doctor Who episode. Like you have no idea what universe it is because it's gone from timber to weed to whatever else, all this stuff. So from your perspective first, where do you see it going? And are you willing to stick it out with Humboldt as you evolve as a person? Because maybe one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm not really digging this anymore.
So for the first question, outdoor tourism. Over the last 50 years, the state of California has grown about 100%. It's doubled. In the last 50 years, Humboldt County has grown about 33%. So the rest of California grew 100%. They doubled. We grew 33%. These are like rough figures, by the way.
Where are these figures from?
This guy I was working with, I'm not going to say his name, but yeah. And if you look, you can look up the population statistics. I'm not like on the dot, but like it's like roughly around there. Ultimately, the population growth of Humboldt County is growing, but it's not growing as fast as the rest of California. So we have the rest of California growing like crazy, mainly Bay Area, LA area, right? And so that's where the money is. And so these people are in these concrete jungles and they want to take pictures for their Instagram that are cool and makes them look like they're outdoorsy people and whatnot. So we offer that here. We really push marketing to get those people up here to spend money on the outdoor tourism along with other tourist attractions that come along with it. And the ultimate, reason why it could be successful is because you have this extremely wealthy population base in San Francisco and LA that is not that far away and they're available. So how do we encourage that? Breeze Airway discount flights. More access to car rentals, more access to traveling up here, and so just boosting the tourist industry, particularly the outdoor tourism industry, to offer an escape for people from these concrete jungles, to get out here and enjoy nature and see what the trees are all about. So yeah, that's where I see. And then the answer to question 2 on do I plan on sticking out? That's a maybe. I would like to, especially with the discount tickets. I can still go back and see my family.
Yeah, that's huge.
So if they take away Breeze Airways, maybe not.
Breeze Airways, we're sending you
shout
an
out Breeze
invoice
Airways.
for all
For
this
real.
free publicity.
Breeze.
I flew back to Burbank round trip for $78.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. I'm going to start going to so many freaking, what was those called? Like, conventions and stuff now. Cause like a buddy of mine, he's a DP cinematographer, ran a thing in Burbank, but we didn't have our flights at the time. I didn't want to pay $500 something just to go to Burbank. I'm like, hell no. So then when this happened, I'm like, okay, so now I can start going to these, live lessons and stuff like that down in Burbank. Cause everything is there.
That's the heart of, yeah. And so that's 30 minutes from my folks' house. And
Are you serious?
Burbank Airport.
Dude,
yeah.
score. That's badass.
So yeah, it's awesome. And so, yeah, I think I am leaving it on the table to stick it out. I think there was a point especially when I was in school here, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not staying here for like more than 10 years. Yeah. Now it's not off the table. And I think a big reason is because the world is so much smaller to me than it was 5 years ago. 100%. And so, the way I see it is, in the grand scheme of things, we're not that far. I'm not that far from my parents' house. I'm only $100 away. So,
or 14 hours. Was it 13 or whatever?
Yeah. 14
by car.
Which the flight is an hour and a half, right?
That's sick though.
Yeah. So, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that far from my parents. So I could, my family and my friends. So I could very realistically stay up here longer term than I planned.
Okay.
So yeah.
Going back to just real quick, but not real quick. I've heard a lot of people bring the outdoor stuff to the table. I talk to a lot of city people and people in general. And that's thrown around a lot, just being like, oh, tourism. Okay, but what to offer? Because, okay, you get Bay Area people, you get LA people and stuff. It's a different lifestyle than here for sure, which we can totally market the hell out of the trees, and it's a getaway because you want to reset, like the hustle and bustle of life, come here and be rejuvenated and all of that stuff. But here we don't really have a nightlife besides a couple of open bars in certain towns and stuff. But I've been trying to figure out, what do people have to bring to the table besides come be outdoors? Because like Mendocino County, for instance, they started doing those rail tour carts thing. I don't know if you've seen that, but they take the railroad tracks and you can ride bikes down these railroad tracks, which is great. And it's a huge tourism thing. But I've been trying to think, because again, I'm not originally from here. There's a lot of history here, and I don't know all the players that are kind of gatekeeping growth, if they're there. And if you are, we need to talk. But what could that look like? What could we have in Humboldt County that's going to attract those people? Because if we want that money and stuff, we have to have something. You can't just be like, enjoy this tree. It breezes. Like, what does a tree do when the wind blows? It breezes. Enjoy that in slow motion on your iPhone.
Shout out Breeze. Like we said, we're sending you an invoice.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, totally. I have lots of ideas, and it's, like you said, there's like the skunk train and there's all these different, I don't know if that's what we
there's a skunk train, and there's also like, there's actual carts that there are two people, you can sit in them and actually pedal down the trail, which I still want to, but it's like $600.
Oh my God.
For like a set. Cause I get it. Cause they're pretty badass. If you look into them, I forgot how long the trail goes, but you stop at one point, have lunch with your group and all of that stuff. And
it's an all day thing, right?
Yeah. It's an all day thing. It's a great date idea if you're willing to drop almost $1,000 on it. So if your ladies are worth it, and actually, are your ladies worth it, gentlemen?
Yeah.
600? Yeah. Mainly because I'm on camera, though.
That's crazy.
You and your openings, that's going to be it. Are your ladies worth it? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this because it's on camera.
I would say, like, if I had like a 40% raise, then I would say yes.
Smart.
I would need a 40% raise. It's just not in the budget unless
I would need probably $1,000% raise. But yeah, is your girl worth it?
She's worth everything, and I give my life to her every day.
That's anything. A good answer.
That's how I feel too.
And it's truthful. Yeah. It's like when you find your person and you're fully each other's choice, it's just like, yeah, whatever you want. What do you need? I'm absolutely in it to win it. But we're going to get away from our ladies for a minute and go back to, what do you have to bring to the table, boss, that Humboldt doesn't have, that people would be in favor of? Because you are dealing with people my age, your guys' age and stuff, and people that have been here for generations that don't want change. Like I don't know if you've watched city council meetings or been a part of them. I've watched some city council meetings where there are members of the community that have been here for such a long time that are just say no to everything. They vote no on everything because it's just, we don't want a mini San Francisco. We don't want a mini Martha's Vineyard or whatever it is. So it's, how do you appeal to that generation? Do you just wait until they die off?
Yeah. That's actually like exactly what I was just thinking in my head is you wait until the next generation sees it as a viable option, and then you execute. And so
the people, or like the idea?
No, the idea, not the people. Yeah,
there's the opening right there.
Edit it.
We were talking about Dexter earlier too. What is wrong with you?
Edit in a way so it sounds like I'm just like
100%.
That would be pretty funny.
I think I think it's smart to kind of wait for the next generation to pass. But also, do you think the reason why they're saying no is because they're already comfortable? They're already either retired or have a high paying job, but like people, like younger people, like in our generation, aren't finding the job opportunities we want to stay out here. Like college kids, like the return back home rate is super high because there's nothing out here.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And
that's your guys' area of expertise. I don't know. So.
I was just making sure, but I do know, because like I wanted to go home when I first got here because I hated it out here. But do you think it's
same,
because they're comfortable and have high paying jobs, and like want to hold, I guess, us back or something?
I think this is why I'm also asking the question, because I don't know a lot, especially in this space. But from what I've been watching on city council meetings, and just if you go in a part of like the community pages for any town here, they're very vocal about they don't want anything here. And it could be a jobs thing. It could be they've got, I mean, a lot of them are retired that make a lot of the decisions. Like they're the money. They get to say what happens. I mean, it's just like government is. Like we think our presidents and, not CEOs, but people that hold higher offices are controlling everything. They're not. The money is. I mean, I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theory here, but money talks. And so it's like when you have all the money, maybe they're just like, no. And maybe it's you going full Dexter on them. And then eventually we'll be able to do what we want. But then it's also like going back to what's the appeal of this place besides here's my giant tree, not bush, but tree.
Yeah. I think it's the redwood trees. I think it's, our great rivers. I think there's some outdoor appeal. And so I would really focus it on that in opposition to the nightlife tourism, right? Like, I don't think we tap into that. I don't think we
really.
I think
I've heard the opposite.
I think like we have it available, and we do have these shows available, and we advertise
shows
them
and stuff. Yeah.
But I think that like to invest heavily in it and expect return would be a mistake, because I think that our generation doesn't. There's less clubbing, there's less partying, there's less drinking. So like even the clubs that are open, like they're struggling because no one's buying drinks. Everyone just shows up for free and dances and leaves. Yeah. And so, I think the nightlife market, just keep it in LA, keep it in San Francisco. If you want nightlife, that's where you go. That's where I go. I have a few trips planned. We might have a great time.
Get it out of your system.
But not up here. It's there's a scene, but it's everyone.
It's local.
It's local. Everyone knows and so out here, I think that biking, hiking, all of that. You do that and you do more.
You think that's enough to bring people like tech guys in and all that? Because like I know some realtors that have a hell of a time keeping anybody here from the tech world. They sell the houses to them and then they flip them immediately because it's not what they signed up for, because it's a whole different lifestyle here. I mean, none of us are from here. So it's a culture shock when you show up and the pace is like from 30 years ago and you're like, what is going on? I feel like I just walked into a documentary that's just that I'm living through right now. And so like for me, I don't party or any of that stuff. I like going out at night occasionally, to get dinner or whatever it is and just looking at things. But I've heard from people that have bought houses here and then go back to the Bay Area. It just was not what I was sold. And that's like with the marketing end of things, it's I think there's a lot of false marketing as far as like I've seen some videos where it's like cool drone shots of trees, like welcome to Humboldt, this or this, and I'm just like, man, it's not what it's like here at all. Like we have a couple decent restaurants, cool restaurants. I don't know. I don't go out all that much anymore because of having a baby. She ruined my life. But then like, I don't know. I just hear a lot of the opposition, especially on Facebook, which that's just trash in general. Yeah. But
there's a lot of opposition, and I think that it's something that is going to take time. It's going to take a long time for it to eventually become big. But I think that it's there. There's a Alaskan town it's called Ketchikan, and they were in a similar position as us. They were struggling. They didn't really. I think they were timber. I forgot what they did, but they're whatever their main economic anchor was, it dropped off the map. Okay, just like us. And so everyone banded together, and they're like, all right, what are we gonna do? Because we don't have any money coming in here, right? And we still need to eat. And so they boosted their tourism industry, and what they did is they got a bunch of cruise lines to come by there, and now it's really big, and there's lots of money going around, but it really took the town to come together, have an open mind about these big cruise lines showing up in their port, dropping off a bunch of pretentious city folk, and letting him loose on the town.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't sound fun. I know a lot of people in Humboldt who don't want some big cruise line coming through and dropping off all these city folk. And
same with Hawaii.
Yeah.
They feel the same way too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, so where, is that if the people here don't want that, then it stays the way it is.
Yeah. Cause it's fascinating to me because of how all over the board everyone is. There's people that want to see change. They want to see those cruise liners come in and have like people spend their dollars here and boost our economy. And then there's just, I'm seeing the majority that does not want that. And it's like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's Humboldt just, in my opinion, needs to decide what it wants and show up to things and vote for things and actually, rather than spending your energy on Facebook complaining about stuff, is like go and be the difference. The older generation, like going back to your thing, I have no idea what they're thinking. That's why I like asking these questions, is figuring out what's everybody's thought process. Like me, I would love to see more tourism for sure. I would love to see things like people spending their money up here. Like I would love to see more signs cleaned up on the highway for breweries and stuff that are lit up better. But then I know, so the Coastal Commission's very particular about how many lumens it can actually be, so it's not distracting. But then that puts a massive damper into any advertising, because then nobody wants to go through all the hoops of pleasing the Coastal Commission and stuff. And so it's like, some people business owners just give up because it just ends up not being worth it because of how much pushback that there actually is. It's like the rodeo in Fortuna, they're trying super hard to bring in shows and stuff, bigger country artists, which is awesome, that they're experimenting with that a little bit. And then you go on social media and then everybody's talking about, we don't want that loud music, yada, 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 yada. It's like, well, then take out your hearing aid and then it's bringing money in.
I think slowly, I think that there's this kind of independent, off the grid community out here, and it's still very much here.
Yeah.
And, but I think people are slowly coming off the mountains, and, because there's no jobs out there anymore. And so you have to go get a job in the city and you become a server at a local restaurant. And then pretty soon you're like, I want that cruise line because they're going to give me tips so I can feed my family, and then you're the owner of the restaurant. And so I think that as people move off the mountain and into, normal jobs and normal society, they're going to be, understand why it's important to have those cruise liners coming in, and why, you have to put up with a bunch of pretentious tourists so that you can eat, because you can't have Walmart and you can't have Costco unless you're willing to give something back.
Yeah.
And so, and that's what you have to give back is, so I think, you have to have it, contained. But I think that when you have, this independent community off the mountain, that's the last thing they want to see, because there's probably like 50 federal agents off duty on that cruise. And, they're like, we don't want that anywhere. We don't want them hearing about, what's going on in Humboldt. So as people move off the mountain, it's gonna, things are gonna change, and people are gonna see the value in tourism and those cruise liners. So I think that could be 10 years from now, it could be 20, it could be 50, but I think eventually it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because so say you had a person in here that was of the older generation, and they're asking you, or they're just totally against everything that you're saying right now, because you're talking about people coming down from the hills and stuff, which that's already been happening for the last 5 years.
Quickly.
Like, I don't want to give you a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, you're not going to execute them?
I would think about it. I wouldn't completely have it off the table, but no, since you're very open-minded about the possibilities, I'm willing to discuss with you. And like my boss Will, he's very open-minded, and even though he might disagree with something, he's willing to hear it out. Right?
Is that the one that I met? Tall guy.
Yeah.
And he would give his opinion on it, which I really like, because a lot of people, like who you're talking about, will just say no, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
which sucks, because you never know what that could lead to.
Exactly. And whereas this, it's a conversation, like you're like, I don't understand, I want to learn more, and I'm curious, so I'm listening to you guys too. But a lot of people are just reluctant to give critique or change their ways or be open-minded. They're just like, no is no to me, I'm not willing to change.
It's just black and white no. Yeah. And it hurts to grow, but we need to sometimes.
But I mean, if you're retired and stuff, I guess you don't really need to grow much
Right.
anymore. But basically also this is why I started the podcast, is to have those open discussions. So like if anyone in the comments wants to talk about anything, like that's what it's here for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Open dialogue about this stuff is amazing, because I think a lot of that needs to happen more, because, and taking it off social media, I'm so huge about that right now, because I see so many people have all these opinions about like what needs to happen or what doesn't need to happen. The older generation says, we're retired, we don't need more. Okay, great. But there are people that are our generations that are still here that also want to see things come into fruition that make our economies look better. And the cruise liners, I know there was talk about chopping down a couple of redwoods to get semis in here, and that I don't know what happened with that. I know that they were talking about doing a walkway from this trail that they've been building with Arcata through to Fortuna, and then they wanted to actually take it to the Bay Area, which that is a crazy, it was pitched, it was a crazy project. I don't think it's ever going to happen, because to maintain that would be absolutely insane, like especially policing it. It's crazy. But
policing, that would be a nightmare.
That got brought up too, was like, how do we keep that trail safe? Because if we're going from San Francisco and we're already dealing with a lot of crazy stuff up here, that's just going to open the door for more of that crazy stuff to be here. Not saying everything is crazy or everyone is crazy. It's just there are some, there's still stuff in the hills still happening.
That's one of the things that people think about. Like somebody told me when I was moving up here was, if somebody offers you a job in the mountains, don't take it.
Same here.
Yeah.
What was the original question you asked him, by the way? I want to.
Oh, we were just tackling the, changing things around here as far as like appealing to people with money to come to Humboldt County. And
like when we first started this.
What was
I need to start taking notes. It was a 2-part question. It was,
you said you wanted both of us to answer.
Yeah. It was, what is the future of Humboldt County? One.
Yeah.
And then number 2 was, do you plan on sticking around for it?
Yeah. Okay. So, I think the plan for Humboldt County, I've been saying this, is like, there was cannabis and timber and whatever else. And all that went away. So like, what's the next big thing? And like, if you look deeper into that, it's entrepreneurship. And I think that's starting to become a huge thing here. Like I've reiterated that too many times now on this podcast, but
I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah. But I think like things like the Startup Humboldt competition and other competitions that'll hopefully pop up because of this, like that'll help drive the next generation of entrepreneurs and kind of give a boost to the economy and like help out, like give jobs, bring people in. Like if we had like another Dick Taylor's chocolates, like that would be huge. Or like Cypress Grove, the cheese guys or cheese gals. Yeah. Cheese people, super good. Yeah, I know. I want one of their platters right now. But like things like that.
We're going to do that next time. Like just have a platter or something there.
And then what was the second part? Where do I see myself?
Yeah, do you plan on sticking around to see it?
So what I was saying earlier was when I first moved up here, like I was just super excited to go back home.
Yeah.
But now like being up here and getting involved in the community and kind of falling in love with the mission and the industry that I've become involved with, like I don't see myself leaving here for a little while.
Yeah.
And I think since I've been building everything that I'm doing right now here, I don't see a reason why to leave. Like, I don't know what opportunities for me could strike up in
WWE calls you and said, "Hey, we need to move you down."
I'm going
here.
right away, bro. Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going to Connecticut.
So you mentioned the entrepreneur stuff. So, because I'm not in your guys' world, I have no idea what's going on here. So I need you to take this as like just a child that's just figuring out how to walk for the first time. So you're building all these entrepreneurs and you're building all these businesses, and what's going to keep them here though? Like if they build businesses that are not sustainable here, like Dick Taylor and all those guys, I don't know them, but that's amazing that they hit that and they're crushing it. I love their stuff, by the way. Sponsor this podcast. I have nothing to do with it, but you should.
They'd probably listen to you more than me.
I just say things and then see what happens. What is going to keep everybody that builds their businesses here when a lot of businesses that are established are struggling, besides like banks? And I'm sure that you know other businesses that are not struggling, but I hear more struggle stories than I do success stories. And the success stories are a lot of people that are in retirement age. So,
I think it would be like say somebody launched a successful product like Evan Cypress Grove or Scorch Marker Cypress Grove Dick Taylor's, like they ship things out and have their products in stores all across California or the country or the world. So I think if you're able to get it to that level, because that brings money in. So like if somebody in Massachusetts buys one of your products, that money gets back to you one way or another. So
businesses like that, where it's like more products to sell and outsource and all that stuff,
which I think will compound into a thriving economy, more opportunity to start your own like service business or something, or keep people here, like give jobs to college students who can't find work, so they just go back to LA or wherever they're from. I think it'll be a compound effect.
So when y'all are helping people build businesses, are you kind of explaining them to them the need of Humboldt County? Like, oh, we need businesses that can bring stuff in, don't build something that's, I mean, because it's kind of a selfish thing to ask too, but like you also want it to stay here to build the economy here.
Yeah,
so
that's one of the criteria for the competition.
Oh, okay.
Is that, it has to be a business that, the judges feel like is going to stay in Humboldt. So if they feel like this person is going to take off, then that's a factor.
That is really cool. They watch for that.
And that the $200,000 of prize funding,
milestone based.
Yeah, milestone based funding is very important.
Samantha's going to get very mad at you.
Yeah, she is. I'm sorry, Samantha.
Vacation money.
Milestone based funding. And yeah, I think that that's a factor, and so they're gonna really want the business to, and I think it comes down to the person, right? Like they're gonna like analyze this person and be like, oh, you got kids going to Eureka High, like, okay, this person's not going anywhere,
right?
Whereas they're like, okay, this person came here a year and a half ago, and they're maybe like this person's definitely leaving, so that's a factor. So there's the internal factor of like, does this, as an individual, do I want to stay in Humboldt County? If that's yes, then that entrepreneur will, scale their business here and bring money. Externally, I don't think there's a lot keeping businesses in Humboldt County.
Right.
I don't think there's a big reason why you would, keep your business in Humboldt County. So that's why I'm really leaning into the outdoor tourism, because that's something you can't just take down to San Francisco. You can't just take it to Texas, because there's unique parts about our outdoor environment here that are only here. And so it's one of the few businesses that you can't just take elsewhere. So that's why I really lean into outdoor tourism, because I think that if we just try to rely on these other businesses, they're going to take off, and then we're going to be back to square one.
Yeah, and so with the tourism stuff, what are a few things? I think you might have said biking or something. Actually, I don't even know. What are some things that you feel like we have right now that people out of the area should know about, that are very notable things?
I would say we have like the Skywalk. I think that
thing is sweet. Yeah.
I think the Skywalk is really cool. I think that if you're somebody that likes, camping and, going to the river, I think there's like this river culture. I think the river culture can be expanded upon. But expanding upon the river culture is going to definitely trigger some of the audience. So, I
don't even know what that means, river culture, but I'm kind of interested into seeing what you mean. Is that like a whole trigger spot, or I don't know?
No, but like how there's like reggae on the river and Northern Nights.
Yeah.
Like, there's this whole river culture. People that just
that's what you mean. Okay,
and it's really during the summer and the fall. People that like hang out in the river, and so there. I think we would want to tap into that, because there's not a lot of water and there's not a lot of swimming in California south of here.
Yeah.
And so that would be something that we can offer. So our rivers, right? We have lots of water, which, the rest of California does not have any. so
we've got your water.
Yeah.
Come get your fix.
Come get your fix of water. Exactly.
That's going to be on the next marketing video.
Yeah.
Get your fix of water.
Exactly. I think there's like this, camping, holistic, I think you've kind of seen it around. The whole holistic scene, I think could, combined with, the outdoor the trees and whatnot could be a very attractive thing for people in the city.
Yeah. I've seen that with Fortuna. They're actually, the River Lodge in Fortuna, they're talking about putting a little dock there so people can kayak and stuff right off of the river right there, go from Rio Del down into Fortuna and out to the bay if they want to. But I wanted to do that forever,
dude.
So they're talking about
so
doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. But the part of that though is when the river is running dry. What are you going to do with that? Because it's a whole thing that they're trying to work through. That was pitched recently, which I think is a great idea. I know there's a whole kayaking community around here, so I think that's huge. That's pretty big. What else?
There's fishing, there's rafting. But as far as something new, I'm not completely sure. Yeah. I think that we would have to stay up on the trends, right? I think that as we move through the 21st century, it's gonna athletic activity is just gonna become a lot more this is trending for a few years, and then this is trending for a few years. And so just kind of staying up to date on whatever's hot would be, I think, crucial to keep the people coming up here. The seasonality, I think, is going to be a challenge. There's a lot of challenges that come along with, the whole outdoor tourism and leaning into it as an economic anchor. And then I think the infrastructure, right? You're going to have to get nicer hotels, and you're going to have to revamp this and revamp that. And so there's a lot of historical, significance there. There's the historical significance. So I don't know how popular that's going to be moving through the 21st century. It's something that I hope
Good point.
I'm really into history, and I love going to museums and learning about. And so I
same.
like.
You want to go to a museum sometime?
Yeah, totally. I love it. And so, but will that be popular?
Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is sponsored by AAA Productions, a Humboldt County video production company helping businesses create strategic, professional video content. If you've been wanting to start making video to grow your socials but don't know where to begin, AAA Production offers consultation and customized production packages to help you build a sustainable content strategy. Use the links below to get started today. Thank you, and back to the show.
Which that's a sad thought to think about. Is that going to be popular? Because even now, you talk about history, people just glaze over, but it's like teaching the younger generation or whatever is to have the appreciation for the thing. Because it's getting lost, different cultures and stuff. It's crazy.
Nobody cares much about history or understands the historical value, and what you guys were just saying about museums. They had this little old railroad artifacts in glass cases, and I was just so fascinated. Cool. I was like, oh, what? They have this stuff here. This is so cool. And I got to read about it, and it was pretty interesting.
I love stuff like that. I went to Oregon one time and walked the Oregon Trail, and they had some amazing things, and I was freaking out because I don't know if you guys ever played that game with the Oregon Trail back in the day. Wow, you are missing out. You thought GTA was awesome. This was 8-bit glory happening. Really? It's fucking rad. Sorry. But it's so good. Anyway, no, I love history because I work with Fortuna a lot, and they're talking about trying to revamp their train museum that they have to just be a little bit more appealing to people. But it's also how do you sell that appreciation to people, especially in the digital age? It's how do you make that, do you let influencers go in there and pose half naked and being oh, look at this rail? Never mind. I'm still working on that joke.
I think that's actually exactly what you do.
No shit.
Yeah, I think awesome. You get influencers to come out here and
influencer marketing, UGC, all that stuff, user generated content.
That would definitely be kind of in my strategy.
We have a batch of influencers out here, and I was just talking to one of them the other day. There's not many of us out here, so it's pretty cool to interact with all of them.
Oh gosh, I'm an influencer.
Are you an influencer? Do you identify as an influencer?
I have an Instagram and I have a podcast.
Shoot, you are an influencer.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, ew.
Wait,
that'd be really cool,
does that make me an influencer?
Dude,
you both are influencers.
We're influencers, dude.
I
don't
think
do drugs.
That you guys should do stuff like that. Is don't do drugs. Did you really just do that?
I'm supposed to influence.
Dude, we're finance bros and we're influencers.
So what are you going to
Goddamn
start
finance bro.
making videos going out to these places then? Like, are you guys going to start making content around that? Because if you're so passionate about Humboldt County, are you going to start showcasing it outside of doing your podcast and do things like that where you go to museums and stuff? I'd watch the shit out of that.
I had an idea because we did the tour for candidates. So like for people who have a business, like what is it called? Brick and mortar. Mm-hmm. We go to that location, film some B-roll of like their back end process, like Dick Taylor's or something, or like your editing process, stuff like that, even though you don't have a brick and mortar, like a studio or anything. By the way, the studio would have hit for the Startup Humboldt competition. Anyways, though, getting videos and tours like that, and showing that in the podcast or making that like the intro, like vlog segment of the episode, or making it its own separate
badass idea.
Yeah. So I was thinking about doing more stuff like that and experimenting.
Dude, so this is the headquarters for the NorCal Small Business Development Center. So we oversee all of Northern California, Sacramento, San Francisco. And on that wall over there, I don't know if you saw that wall with all those blue like backgrounds. Those are success stories from all of Northern California. Businesses that we've helped open. And so I think that the NorCal SBDC, and, I'm not exactly at the top of the ladder here. So, but my idea is that we start filming, we start doing like recorded success stories with our clients. Right now, I go in, I take a few pictures, I write a success story, and it's, a lot about capturing the story. It's kind of like this. I'm starting from, where did you start? What were the challenges? So on and so forth. How did the SBDC help is like a big part of the article. But I write these success stories, but I'm like, this is a little outdated, I think that like a YouTube video or something, I think like we should be making content promoting the businesses that we help finance. Because, it's expensive.
But is it though?
It is, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, like if I was to say, hey, we want to hire you, I want to hire you guys to go in and record all the stuff for this business and, and make a story out of it, and we're going to post it. Like,
could you package it in a way? I mean, because I think last time you mentioned having like angel investors or something. Actually, somebody said something about investors. Could you go to one of your people and just say, hey, we want to do a documentary series, like straight up Netflix style, of the people that we've turned into success stories? I think this is going to be very beneficial for everything that we do. Can you, or have you already done that? Has that been in talks? And,
well, the investors would have to see an ROI.
Yeah. Well, how would they make their money back?
Well, that's the thing, is sometimes you don't.
Yeah, so we'd have to find.
The problem.
And
that's
so,
what SK was saying on her
Startup Humboldt
episode with her.
That's potentially. I mean, they're giving us this studio time for free.
Yeah,
I mean, because I work here, but
because that's just to that. Because I think it's an amazing idea. Which I don't know if we need to cut that or not, just because I don't know if people stealing ideas and stuff. But I think that is
no, that's fine. I don't. Okay, I don't think it's that original.
But to your specific situation, it definitely not original, but it is, because is anybody else coming here and filming people's testimonials as far as like setting them up for success and all that stuff? Probably not.
No. I mean, right now we do that, but it's just we're taking pictures and we're writing a nice article. So it's like, we're doing Instagram posts and like so like my suggestion is like we just need to do that, but better. Like,
and I agree. No, I 100%. Like if you did something like that, where it was very, very intentional, where you did docu-style Netflix stuff. Like I don't know if you've ever watched Chef's Table, but I've gone through that show so many times. They pick a chef and then just do a short documentary, being an hour long, about their entire story, and it's a whole season of all these different chefs all around the world, and it's freaking awesome to watch, and I watch it obsessively because it's just so well done. So if you did something like that where you're like, hey, investor people, you're not going to get your money back, but what you're doing is you're sowing into the next generation of entrepreneurs that are going to watch these stories and be like, oh my gosh, if they can do it, I can do it. Because a post is great and everything, but as these generations come, they're very visual. We need all these videos and stuff, and break that up into what we were talking about earlier. It's like, there's got to be somebody there that's willing to be like, you know what? I'm willing to invest in people.
All right. I want to get into a rapid fire round with you. These are true false questions or true false statements. And we got 10 of them this time. We did it with previous guests. And I think I like this format. So you can answer true, false, or skip. And then we can go back and touch on anything.
Okay. I love this shit.
Keep that one in.
That's so good.
In 2026, AI tools are a legitimate co-editor rather than just a shortcut.
Oh, shit. Yes. True.
Oh, wait.
What did you say, true or false?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
True. Okay. The first 3 seconds of a video are more important than the last 3 minutes of a story.
Oh my gosh. What? Pass. That's hard.
You can build a world-class film career in Humboldt without ever stepping foot in LA.
True.
Working on a legendary franchise like Jaws is more stressful than filming a high-stakes Humboldt wedding.
False.
Finding the story in the edit room is more about what you cut out than what you leave in.
Oh, that's a good thing. I'm going to say true.
Emotional resonance is a better metric of success than a high stay rate percentage.
True.
The final rewrite of a film happens in the color grade, not the edit.
What the hell is that question? You know better. False.
Well, because color can portray emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, to an extent.
Just a random one I would have thrown in there.
All right.
Every filmmaker in Humboldt secretly wants to be the next big thing in Hollywood.
True.
All right.
Okay. Favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh my gosh, Empire. Mr. Attack of the Clones. I remember.
Oh yeah, we did. That's right, we did this Attack of the Clones.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow.
I kind of want to change my answer to Revenge of the Sith.
There you go.
That is a really good one.
Yeah.
That I can get
just because
behind.
I think I might like Palpatine better.
You should have.
I'm really into the villains, you know.
Yeah, I am too.
I think the protagonists in a lot of movies are just like corny and like boring.
Yeah, I would love to see like a Darth Bane trilogy where it's just dark and there's no hope at all.
Dude, they're doing a Maul.
Do you see the trailer?
Series. Yeah.
Did you see that today?
Yeah. And I think they have the same voice actor they had.
Yeah, Sam. Crap. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, same guy. Yep.
I'm so excited.
He's awesome.
Darth Maul goes so hard.
Oh yeah, I have Darth Maul's lightsaber in my office.
You got the
wait, do you have like I guess one of the replica ones?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's literally sitting. I'll send you guys a picture. It's sitting on my bookshelf.
Nice.
It's like both blades and stuff. You can take it apart and
pop that picture up right there.
Oh yeah, good point.
My brother has a replica Yoda lightsaber.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So
I've got Darth Vader. I got several things. I got like film cells and all that stuff too from Empire.
What?
So.
Okay, so you wanted to touch back on the first 3 seconds of a video are more important than the last 3 minutes of a story.
Oh, I wanted to touch on that? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to even touch on that. Can you say that again?
The first 3 seconds of a video are more important than the last 3 minutes of a story.
I don't even know how to put that into anything at all because it just depends on the video. I mean, it depends if it's a short form thing or if it's a long form thing. Long form, it's going to be definitely different because it's a slower pace setting the first act up. It's not going to be like a YouTube video or YouTube short or TikTok where you're like, oh, boom, 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 first 3 seconds locked in because it usually starts. I mean, any narrative movie that's kind of longer paced, you're going to see like an opening shot that takes a while. And so it just kind of depends on the situation.
I feel like this question or this statement would have been better to ask you, when was YouTube founded? 2005. So like probably 2003 when I was born. Something like that.
Wow. I was born 90.
Really? That's not, you're not that much older than me.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just a few years.
And then what was the other one? The final rewrite of a film happens in the color grade, not the edit. I feel like there's more to that than just
hold on, repeat that again.
The final rewrite of a film happens in the color grade, not the edit.
No, that's totally not true at all because that's a color grade. It's in the edit that the final rewrite is made. Like the color grade is like, it could look like total dog shit, but if the edit's amazing and the story's great, you're good to go. Because it's like it's a color grade. Like I could make this look like complete dog shit and then edit it extremely well. You're going to ignore that. Like I ignore some horrible movies and videos as far as the color grade goes because the story is really, really good. Now it adds to it for sure. Like, if the color temperature is complementing a scene or something like that, you're watching Scream or whatever, and it's like a murder scene. It's got more blues and darker colors or or more shadows and darker colors and stuff, because if you have such pronounced like pinks and reds and browns and stuff in the middle of a murder scene, it might take away from, I don't know, it just kind of depends. It's very,
true. Yeah. And that's the same thing for audio. Like
audio is huge.
This could be filmed on a JVC or whatever, and like a 240p, but if the audio is like this, no,
I watched some really horribly shot podcasts on iPhones, but it sounds amazing. His audio is huge. Like every single filmmaker needs to understand you need to invest way more in your audio than your lighting or your cameras.
100%.
Like it should be audio first. Obviously, you get a camera, but audio first, and then you can worry about glass later.
Yeah.
Like, and that's audio is just huge, dude. Oh my gosh.
I agree because I feel like my kit lens with my camera is still good.
Yeah.
And I guess someone can argue my $200 kit lens is better than a $200,000 lens or something like that.
I mean, I don't know. It depends. I mean, because like you can make a kit lens look great, especially some of the Sonys. Lumix has some really great lenses, some kit lenses. I've used quite a few of those and made them look great. But like cinema lenses and stuff, the glass is completely different than kit lenses. Like especially if they're photo lenses, they're way sharper and more clinical than a lot of cinema glass. So it's just there is a difference, and once you start getting into that and buying different glass, you're going to notice differences. Like these. They're all cinema glass and they're a little bit softer until you put sharpness on them and stuff. Like I can make them look pretty clinical, but it's for a certain look, because if you look, we don't see as clinical as a Sony lens does or a photo lens does. So
yeah, interesting. Okay. I like that perspective. And then I guess you answered this one, but in 2026, AI, I said it again. I said
AR-15? Are you talking about guns? Like what's going on, dude?
AI tools are a legitimate co-editor rather than just a shortcut.
That one is such a huge topic, but I will say there are editors out there now that are using AI software and cutting documentaries and narrative films with AI software. I'm not even going to say the names because it's just going to put me out of a job. But literally, I mean, I'll say them. There's like Eddie AI and a couple of other ones where you
you mentioned that.
Yeah, you could literally put all of your footage into this software. And you can tell it, I need a rough cut of this documentary, and it will spit the whole thing out. The problem with that is, and this is where a lot of people are going to have issues, is you don't watch over all the footage, so you don't know inflections. You don't know if there's something missing. And I've tested it out just to see like what it does, and I felt like I was driving for the first time. It was a weird experience because I didn't get to watch all the footage, and I'm just trusting this robot to make something. And then I tested it out with an interview, and then I went back and watched the interview and cut it myself. We cut it vastly different, and it says it gets you there. It gives you topics and all of that stuff that they talked about, but then it cut so many good things out that it could have been a but, or it could have been an or whatever it was, because it's trying to be clinical again. And you could probably, with updates or whatever, tell it to leave that stuff in. But it missed a lot. It totally missed a lot. It missed the complete human element of it. It just grabbed the best sounding bits and created timelines.
Is it trained on what social media wants to see, or
both? It could do social media, and it can do just making rough cuts of things. It could make an hour and a half long film in like 10 minutes.
Do you think AI integrated editing is going to take over the future of that market? Do you think that AI editors are going to be so much more efficient than those that don't use it, to the point where it's just impossible to find a place in the market without using AI to make your process more efficient?
I think what's going to end up happening is, well, starting off with this, we're never going to escape AI. A lot of the creative industry is anti-AI, which I get. A lot of the filmmaking space is anti-AI, except for the actual production companies themselves. Netflix, Warner Brothers, all these people are investing in these companies. And it's a lot of the indie guys that are very upset, which for good reason, because there's a lot of jobs being lost already. A little over 15 years ago, the BBC started using robot camera ops for their newscasts and all of that stuff. A lot of this stuff has already existed beforehand.
For the dollies or for the actual?
No, the camera ops, like human camera ops, are kind of obsolete in the news space unless you're working at a local place. But you can even look it up. Like there's several videos floating around about that, but you literally can see robots. There's maybe 8-10 cameras, and it's all being controlled by a human being. So a human being still has control over these cameras. The operators are no longer there though. But I know like SNL, they're still human operators. But AI is not going anywhere, and it's already taking over things. I think that it's getting, unless you have like billions of dollars and have sweat, you can't end it. I mean, they're like, I know the data farm thing is a huge argument. Like it's not good for our environment and stuff, but you have people like Google investing in Project Suncatcher or Sunflower or whatever it is, where they're trying to take their data farms into space, so that way it's no longer on Earth anymore. That started a couple of years ago. I don't know if you've heard about that.
No.
That's nuts. So they're trying to be the first ones to bring their data farms to space.
A new space race. Huh.
Yeah, but then there's also the element of like, what if something happens in space and these things explode? Is it going to come and destroy the U.S. or whatever country it's over?
Or what would happen to all of our data?
Yeah.
Like all of our like chat history or something, if that's what they use it for, like, is it all gone? Or if Google Drive gets up there and an asteroid destroys it, is all of our stuff gone?
Yeah. I think like we're just not going to send humans up there, you know?
Right.
So, you know, our little probe will go up there, get whatever data.
Yeah.
And then an asteroid will hit it and we'll be like, oh, darn.
Yeah.
All right, send up the next one.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And it's like we don't have to have a funeral because there was no human on it.
Yeah, which is cool. Like, but when it comes to the AI stuff, like, just because I love this topic because a lot of people are so anti it and won't have the discussion about it. I do think that there's going to be a lot more AI editors. I know that there are people in the industry relying on AI to do the grunt work that assistant editors would do, like logging footage and stuff. Now they're able to program, hey, I need today's dailies when you shot on the day. I need these dailies categorized like this, and this. I need you to put it in this format. I need you to make proxies in this.
Wait, you can you can make proxies with AI?
Some of them you can do. So there's you have to. It's a whole thing. Like it's out of my wheelhouse as far as like how it does it. But I know there are editors turning to AI to do the assistance jobs.
If you can if you can get your product out in half the time, then you could potentially charge half the rate. And then so you can just go and undercut the whole market.
Or double your rate.
Or you can, well, you don't want to double your rate. You could charge the same rate and work half as much.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean, for me, I think that it's going to, make more sense for people to lower their rates. And then I think that, I think naturally that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, just to hit that real quick is, the AI editing thing is crazy and you can spit out faster content for sure. It just comes down to kind of like what I was talking about is when you're going through footage, maybe one day, actually, I don't know with AI, because like one day it could be like a huge leap with AI programming, and it could be really good with intuition as far as like, because I don't know, like it turns into a Terminator situation. It could start judging, oh, the inflection on this voice in this interview is exactly what it's needed for this thing. It's scary what it does. And like my buddy Gavin has said this for years. He's a filming buddy, and he has mentioned like people need to stop trying to fight this AI train because we cannot stop it. Especially the indie people. Like there are always going to be those factions, those production companies that are going to stay strictly human because we're created to have a human experience. We're created to be within community with one another. There's nothing like being on a set and creating together. Now, when it comes to the mundane work, I do believe that's and it already is being outsourced to AI stuff. And again, going back to Netflix, Warner Brothers, all these huge companies are trying to invest in this stuff. They're already curating their recommendations with AI. Like AI is paying attention to what you want, and then they're experimenting with making AI movies. Like there's colleges, schools to teach you how to do AI filmmaking. So they teach you how to prompt properly. Like how do you? Okay, I want to shoot this on an Arri Alexa. I want to be using this Zeiss compact lens. These are the lenses that I want to do.
That?
Yeah. So there's a company called Higgsfield, which there's a couple local people dabbling in that, which make the AI commercials and stuff. You can tell it what lenses to use. You can tell it what camera bodies to use. And me being me, I'm a very inquisitive person, so I look into all of this stuff. But that's what's going on right now and like SAG-AFTRA, all these unions, they're not against AI. We just want our people to be paid properly. They're investing in it. And so it's just the indie culture, which I totally get. Like I get being pissed off. Like I love my job. I love editing. I think it's going to come down to, again, these factions where people want the human experience. It's going to be all about relationship. That's why I tell people all the time, if relationship is a currency, you have to be extremely good at it. You have to be a good person, a decent human being, and don't be an asshole, and you'll be able to keep your job. Like you have to be able to have, like I mix and I edit. Like I mix music. I just mixed a project for Bose this morning before all the other stuff I did today. But it's good to wear a couple different hats that you can bring to the table, especially in editing, that you can say, I can edit and I can mix audio for you. I can do these things. I think that there's going to be a place for that, but AI is crazy.
I like that. Diversifying your skill set.
Yeah, I know people that are using AI stuff for storyboarding. Like they can't draw, they can't hire a storyboard artist, and so they go to whatever website that they choose and say, I'm making this film about the slasher movie. This is what I've got. These are my ideas, and then it will storyboard out everything, and then you just go shoot it with a human. There are several filmmakers doing that, and it's like they don't. Some of them do say it. But then you've got the guys on social media that are so like all human stuff all of the time. And that's just not the world that we live in anymore. Like we're totally evolved into this new thing that we're still trying to figure out. I ultimately, just with a lot of the studying that I've been doing with just AI in general, I don't think it's going to be headed in a great direction. And I'm kind of worried about the future for my daughter, because of just some of the things. Like what if it did become sentient? What if it did decide one day?
Skynet,
straight up Skynet, dude. That's not even far-fetched. I was watching the Diary of a CEO. I was watching the Diary of the CEO, or whatever that podcast is called. And one of the founding fathers of AI mentioned, like, you have no idea what we're in for, because people are just, I need more AI. I want AI this, I want AI that. He's like, what started out with trying to cure cancer and all these different diseases and ailments has now turned into who can control this AI.
Our reliance and dependence on AI is going to be our demise.
All right. Well, that's obviously the best closer we can come up with tonight. So if you guys enjoyed that episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment and share your thoughts on what we said. We're always open to discussion. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.
Bye.